We're live.
We're live. Welcome, people. And
The Starfleet Academy trailer starts now.
We will have to see.
yes, we will have to see. It looks a bit on the. Oh, wait. Don't go off, Dean. Don't go. Oh, I went off before I could get to it. Damn it, Mama Son. Damn it. Welcome everyone to the chat. Now we're getting ready to play a song, but we just was watching this clip earlier. I wanted to get everybody's opinion on what do you think about this. This. How come we got what's his name behind us? Where the hell he come from? I know he follows us in a little bit, but he's not on yet. Anyway, we were playing this clip because Stephen Colbert's going to have a voice in Starfleet Academy. That's enough right there to make me not want to watch it. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a big fan of Colbert's in any shape, form, or fashion.
Oops. Well, that's twice. There he is again.
What are you doing?
I didn't. You popped out.
That's got to be StreamYard.
We're out of the studio 100%.
That's got to be a StreamYard issue. I don't know what that is. No, I'm not
weird.
leaving the studio. It's just dropping me at the bottom. Hey Heidi, how you doing?
Hey,
anyway, I'm not a big fan of Stephen Colbert. So I'm not, really. He's I don't find him to be that funny, and I don't see how he's going to work in the thing. Oh, sorry guys, my alarm's going off. Somebody must have came home or something. We've had company all week, so anyway, apologize for my alarm system. This is letting me know someone has entered the presence. Now, if they walk back in, they don't belong here. Uh-oh.
By the way, that's ADT, all dog terrain. If you step across that terrain, they will chew your ass.
No telling what the idiots are up to, though. They keep it up, I have to go look. No, Chris, no, Jay's going to put this song on right now, and then we'll be right back. And I don't know how long the song is, 4 or 5 minutes. And then we'll be right back, and we're going to pick up for that. So if you have any good things you want to talk about today, send me, text me, email me, drop them down in the chat down there, and we'll go. And no, Bruce, I'm not putting Pal Talk on his computer until I figure out what the bleep is wrong with it. It has been being uncooperative lately. It works, but then it gets stupid. And a little while ago, it was working great all through Office Quill, and then it wanted to give Jay and I trouble when we started. And then it locked up, and then I closed I started working right. So I don't know, something screwy's going on. We just got to figure it out. But one pain in the Power Talk loses a lot of energy. Yes, it's a big program. It takes up a lot of your onboard, especially if you're running audio and video.
Mine off then.
If you're well, I don't know. Once we get started, I might try to install it. If all of a sudden disappear, that's probably what happened. But go ahead, Jay. Cue up the song, and we'll be right back, guys.
All right.
dong. Welcome back, everyone, to the chat. How's everybody doing? Michael, you hanging out with? Hey, Kate, what's up, Kelly? What you doing? I gotta watch this one too. She's trouble too, man.
YYSSW. I don't know what that means, but thank you.
Yeah, sure, whatever. At least she didn't put the F in there. It's usually yeah, sure, what the fuck ever. But
I see. I got you.
See, I told you she's trouble. You didn't believe me. You know? I mean, she can cause some shit sometimes when she wants to. But we still love her anyway. How you doing, baby? Welcome everyone to the chat. It's a little. You deleted what? Your brain? I mean, what are you talking about? You deleted it. What did you delete? Hey, where's my camera at? Oh, there I am. Whoa.
Oh my God.
That was kind of scary rough there for a minute. What the hell did you delete? Anyway. Whoa, what the hell? Now look, computer, you wouldn't work a minute ago. Now you got shit popping up all over the place. What, you caught your breath or something?
What the fuck ever. Yeah, man.
I can see it's gonna be one of them kind of nights. Okay, Marsha, I will be in LA. What is this? Where are we at right now? October, November, December, January, February, March. 6 months. Yes. I'll be out there hanging out. Where'd we go?
Just showing the background to everybody. That's all.
Oh, okay. That was weird. It's that's the planet on radiation, man. Yeah, that's J irradiating. That's why his fucking name is Doomsday J. Yes, that's just radiation permeating out there. See, he gets all peace, love, and light. Instead of being like that, he goes, "Oh no, watch! I'm going to send radiation." You notice there's no animals because they all melted and shit.
It's actually a combination of two Bob Ross paintings, Night Lights and Mountain Lake. I think is the other one.
Oh,
so it's Mountain Lake Night Lights.
Don't try to blame it on Bob, man. Leave Bob out of this. He's gone. And
Bob didn't paint it. I did.
Trying to blame Bob now, man. You see how you
Bob? I'm the one who painted it.
Hanging out with Kelly. She's just crazy as you are.
I just got really drunk one night, and I was watching 2 of his episodes at one time, and that's what came out on the canvas.
Oh my God. Oh, what? My Doritos? You better stay off my Doritos, man. Shame on you trying to get my damn Doritos. Anyway.
According to what one of our super fans at Church of Mavis, Gabe says that Doritos are fruit.
Anyway, so before we even get started, let's talk about the new Starfleet Academy. So I'm thinking, because everybody they said showed working there is gay, so it's going to be the new gay Starfleet Academy. Not the cadets, just the students.
Well, I don't know. That one professor looked kind of butch, and some of the other scenes in there look kind of.
Well, no, I know 4 of the characters, 2 of them from Discovery, and they're both gay, and 2 of the guys are from whatchamacallit, they're both gay too.
I can't really necessarily speak for Gene Roddenberry. I never met the man. I've only read about him and heard stories about him.
Well, I don't think Gene would. I don't know if Gene.
I don't think he would approve. Is what I would think.
Well, no. Okay. So Gene knew that. So what's his name? George Tataki was gay.
George Takei.
Yeah, George Takei. He knew he was gay when he hired him. Y'all didn't know Sulu was gay? You're shitting me, right?
Yeah. The actor is gay, not Sulu.
Yeah, the actor is gay. No, the actor was all like, "Ooh, come here." What's her face?
Yeah.
Oh, what's her name?
In the new universe, they've made him gay in honor of Walter Koenig being gay and hiding it throughout. But he's not.
But he was in the series. He had a thing for Uhura, Yuta,
especially in the Amira universe.
You know what though? Come to think about this, in the whole entire time I remember watching Star Trek, I don't think I've ever heard Uhura called by her first name until the new Star Trek.
Yes, she never had the first name. Okay, so the story is when she went in for the interview with Gene, she was reading a book, and the book was, and I forget who wrote the book, but the book title was Black Uhuru. And Uhuru is a Swahili for freedom. So the book was about Black freedom, I guess, somewhere in Africa. I don't know. I never read the book, but she was reading that book when she went into the interview, and Gene didn't have a name for the character. So she said, "How about Uhuru?" And he said, "Okay, yeah, but let's make a girl's name." And they put an A on the end of it, and that's how she got the name. And so they never really did give her a first name until, I don't know when, but sometime in the movies. The original
It's,
series movies, by the way. I mean, like I think Star Trek V, we know her first
Well,
name.
somebody said in the lore, or back, and I can't honestly say because my mom bought me a bunch of those Starfleet manuals and character manuals when they way back in the early 70s, and they had her full name in it, but I don't remember it being that. Now, it could be. People don't hate on me because that's a long time ago. I'm getting as old as dirt, so it's possible. I just a name like that I thought would have stuck out in my head because it sure does now. In Well, no, okay, Christopher. So look, Star Trek used to put out manuals. Like there was one just about the Star Trek Enterprise, just about the first Enterprise, how it worked, where everything was. It showed you the engines. It showed you all the compartments. It showed you the quarters. It showed you everything. It showed you all the different uniforms for different things. It told you all the regulations in Starfleet. There was a whole volume of just Starfleet regulations, fucking things about this thick. And then they got them on all kind of shit. That's where I learned that Starfleet had tugs. I didn't know they had tugs. That's where I learned about that. They had, stuff like that. They had all kind of stuff. They had four pylon starships. I didn't know they had that. And then we found out later on with Picard with what was the name of his starship?
Picard's first starship was the Stargazer, which had four.
Stargazer. Yeah, it had four. That's what I'm saying. So that's when the new people found out. But in the actual manual, they actually have those. They actually have several versions of Starfleet starships in the original series ships. And then there was a whole new set of these done for when Generations came out. Oh man, there's tons of this shit. I mean, Jay, take over for a second.
Yeah, it definitely. I've had several of those books as well. They take over several design cues from the first book was Franz Joseph's Starfleet Technical Manual. It came with a black plastic hardcover, and if you took there was like a little paper insert. If you took that out, underneath it was gold, and it said Starfleet Technical Manual, and it looked exactly like the one in the book, the same book that they had in the TV show, because they do show their technical manual at least a couple times. Only thing is that the Franz Joseph one wasn't as thick as the one in the TV show, so obviously it was a redacted version. It's top secret stuff, but Joe's right. We had in that book, it's got there's tug type spaceships, there's destroyers that have one engine nacelle. There's they have carriers, they have destroyers, and they have a dreadnought which has
short range, long range
nacelles. There's two on the main, two on the secondary body, and one on the saucer section. So three engine nacelles. Very cool stuff.
Micah said, "What was the first starship officially to reach warp 10? You mean operational in Starfleet, not because several starships did that because they went faster than the speed of light. So obviously they went faster than Mach 10. But you're talking about operational. So
the Enterprise right now, I think currently in Starfleet technical lore, whether you're in the JJ universe or the TV universe or the original universe, its top speed is listed as unknown. Because aliens had taken control of it and made it go beyond what what our gauges can gauge.
And by the way, that's happened several times with several different versions of the Enterprise being taken over.
Correct.
As far as I know, when the last episode of Star Trek Generations, when he's jumping back and forth in time, and Riker's in charge of the Enterprise, it had 3 nacelles, it had a big cannon underneath it, and it did warp 10 plus. They never said how fast it actually went. But we know it went faster than warp 10. They were saying something about warp 13. I don't know. It just, so.
Well, 3 engine nacelles definitely can go more than 10 because that's what the Enterprise had. All the Enterprise classes had 2 warp nacelles.
Yeah. So anyway, regardless.
5 warps. 5 warp. That's it.
So, yeah. So anyway, this could go that fast. And, but that's first officially I knew where they took us over warp 10 officially as part of the Star Trek canon. Before that, it was just all like Jay was just talking about. Somebody took over and hyped up the ship, and what was the ones in Aliens? They were going to take them out to another universe. And
I forget.
There was just a bunch of them actually. I might disappear for 10 minutes because somebody's dropping me off some food, so I have to go.
They have a thing on their belt, and they turn the whole crew into little like cubes. What look like dice.
Oh yeah, I remember that one too. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and that's the one you're talking about. And they turn.
Oh, is it? It is. Because that's the one where if you touched the little thing, it was real cold or something.
It would, yeah, it would kill you. It would damage your
Yeah.
cells. There's there's the other one where no, that's different. They didn't go anywhere. They were out on the planet the whole time, but those people were invisible. But yeah, that's one of the good ones. And they actually leave in that episode. They leave the galaxy. They're in between our galaxy and the galaxy the aliens have hijacked the ship to go to, which is going to take 300 years, even with as fast as they're going.
Yeah, nice launcher. So it happens when you go to other galaxies, people. But you see now, ladies and gentlemen, you can visit 4 galaxies without leaving our galaxy now. Yes.
How do we do that?
Because the Milky Way is eating them. Sagittarius galaxies. Sagittarius is actually still sticking out of the Milky Way quite a good ways. So here's the Milky Way, and here's the Sagittarius is penetrating it like this. But there's 3 other ones it's eating. Those mostly look pretty well eaten up, but still, that's other galaxies. So you can go. So look
how much more alien material are we picking up? I mean, that's
4 galaxies is a lot.
They must be smaller. They must be smaller than our galaxy if our
of course
gravity is
eating them so because we're going to get eaten in 1 billion years.
By a black hole.
No, Andromeda is going to eat us. We're going to merge with Andromeda. We're headed right there for a collision right now. Have been the whole time we've been alive. We're headed there eventually one day. Boom!
Well, what, 1 million years from now?
1 billion years from now. And then everything's going to be spiraling around, and then the 2 black holes are going to merge to make a super black hole. Eventually, it's going to turn into a supermassive galaxy, which Andromeda is already big. And then we're going to add our entire mass to it. So it's and then eventually everything will settle down, and you'll have another stable galaxy, basically a rebirth.
Andromeda when we get there.
No, there's nothing to eat between here and there. It's empty space. Yeah, space between galaxies is generally pretty empty. It wasn't probably in the beginning, or we wouldn't be. And there's weird things with galaxies. So you've got originally they predicted that there wasn't going to be organized galaxies at the beginning of the Big Bang, and they were going to be way small. What they found was super duper massive galaxies that were very organized, which made no sense to them because they were supposed to be coming out of the chaos. And the further you went out, the more organized they got. But that's not actually true. And you know what? I just heard a car door, so I will be right back.
All right.
Jay's on his own, guys. I'll be nice till I get back.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're absolutely right. We don't know. We don't know the full real mechanics of the Big Bang or whatever it is that started all of this. So depending on, what the medium was surrounding that explosion would depend on how chaotic or uniform the explosion was. If it was inside like a gelatinous medium, like certain cells, one cell mechanisms, organisms have, I guess they call it mitochondria around the main nucleus of the cell, the living part of it. So if it was in some sort of living gelatinous cell, when it exploded, there may not be so much chaos. It might just be like everything is essentially ballistic. But we have things that are going in opposite directions. Some things are going back towards the explosion, and some things are going away. Some things are speeding up. Some things are slowing down. It's very strange. There is chaos out there, but if there was an explosion, then not the kind of chaos you would expect if we were in the midst of a 13 billion year old explosion of mass. And it's a lot of mass. Look through any telescope. There's a lot of stuff out there. I mean, there's billions, perhaps trillions of galaxies that we can see with our telescopes right now. And each of those galaxies have trillions of planets. Perhaps hundreds of trillions. We're not even sure. Our solar system alone, 431 natural satellites around all the planets. That's our moon, all the moons of Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, pick it. 431 natural satellites going around our sun right now. That's one solar system. Times that by 1 trillion. It's impossible that life doesn't exist, for one, and for two, everything seems to have somewhat of an order. All the galaxies seem to spin. They may have different shapes, but they all seem to spin. Some in the same direction, some in other directions. It must be, if it's not intelligently designed, then it's one hell of a natural chaos that came to order. It boggles the mind, to be quite honest. But so to think that we're the most important and stuff like that, with all that we now know with our telescopes, the Jack Webb and the Hubbles, and there's new ones coming. There's a new one coming out that not only will it be able to detect planets and inner planets, but it should be able to detect atmospheres that sustain life. Whether it will be able to detect if that atmosphere has mechanical gases, technology or industry, that's yet to be seen. But the ability to identify host planets that we could go and live on and breathe on, would be fantastic. That's a good point. Fully 7/10 of our planet, our ocean, we've probably, and this is just a very, very generous estimate, we've probably only just explored about 2/10 or 2% of the entire ocean. And that's horrible. We should know much more about our planet before we go further out. But very, very true statement. We know less about our oceans than we do about the surface of Mars.
Yeah, who wants to go in a stinking ocean? If I disappear, it's because I don't know who that was. That was somebody dropping something off. Wasn't who I was looking for, though. I don't want to go in the ocean. No, ocean.
Yeah,
things in the ocean that might eat you.
That one, everything.
Well, they might be something in the ocean that wants to eat you. What do you mean? There's lots of things in the ocean that can eat you. What are you talking about, people? There's lots of things that can eat you in the ocean.
Oh, hell yeah. That's why I don't go swimming in the ocean.
What's going to eat
swallow
you
whole?
No, really, what's going to eat you in space? I don't know of anything that eats humans in space other than black holes. And that's only if you get too close to them.
There is the is this Einstein? I don't know if it's Einstein, but there's some speculation that you got quasars or white holes and black holes, which are the other end. So one end is the black hole, and it sucks in all energy, mass, and light, and spits it out the other end, all changed into a quasar.
Quasar.
Yeah.
There's so many. Who the hell is that? There's so much weird stuff in space, people. We'll be exploring it for eons to come. We'll have explored our oceans three times
Heidi's
over.
Question, what your question was about what is unknown. I mean, so much of it. I mean, thinking about it, these if there's aliens visiting this planet right now, and I fully support the idea, and they're even just 1 million years advanced than us, there's physics and science that they know that we do not know, that if we did know, would very likely change life on this planet overnight. And I'm talking like overnight, like me. One day it's like you don't have anything, the next day anything you want, you can have it. That's how drastic of a change I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, there's going to be, it's like this, people. Every now and then there's an invention that just changes everything. In the old days, there was no such thing as a toilet or running water. Those were major inventions that changed society and allowed it to grow in massive ways.
Well, Rome was the first to come up with running water.
Yeah. Electricity, no, it was the Greeks, wasn't it?
I believe it was Rome.
Well, maybe it was. I ain't going to argue, but they're too close together to.
Yeah, they are very close together. But whichever it is, there are still parts of the Roman aqueduct system which draws water from the mountains north in the north of the country all the way down through to, and parts of it still work.
Actually, they started. We talked about this on a show a while back. They started repairing parts of it because it's easier to use it than to build a new one.
Exactly, it still works. Why fix it? Why if it still works, just fix what's needs repair.
That's that concrete they made out of volcanic ash. They think recently there was a special about it. They think maybe they might have found. The guy said there's no way really of knowing. He said it's concrete and it's great and it's really, really strong. He said, but is it going to last 2,000 years or 3,000 years? He said, I can't tell you that. He said, the only way I can tell you that is 3,000 years from now.
Well,
Uh,
but there's the theory and speculation. Okay, volcanic ash is a good one. I mean, that could make a very good substrate for building a road as well.
well, they know it's
But
in the Roman
but
concrete.
there's
They just don't
also
know
the,
what the
the
mix
theory
is.
of geopolymer, so it could also be a geopolymer.
Well, no, we know the ash is in there. When they
Oh.
examine it, it's when they because they've actually had the concrete.
So is this
under
ash from
microscope.
Pompeii, probably then?
I'm assuming they didn't say where it was from, and I guess you could probably find out because I imagine they would know.
Well, they
But,
probably got lots of it around Vesuvius. It's constantly erupting. I do believe it's a very active.
Well,
area.
all I remember scientists saying was they didn't have to go very far to get it, and
Yeah.
then they said, but there were some compounds in there. In all honesty, there was at least 2 compounds, I think 3, that they didn't know what the hell it was. And he said these could have been things that were, from a deep volcanic reaction or something, a mineral we haven't yet on the table yet. But you can't just put it on the table if you can't find it again. So, and then they don't know if this is something that just happened over 3,000 years of standing there being squished together. So they're not even sure, but they do say that the ash is a very good binder, and it's a waterproof binder. So, because remember, their concrete dries underwater. It took us a while to learn that.
Well, it's basically pumice.
Yeah, so it's
Really what it is.
so. No, Jack. Yeah, there's concrete that dries underwater. You didn't know that? Oh yeah, this shit sets up underwater just like it's in the air. So a lot of concrete creates a heat that dries itself.
This might also blow the audience's mind. We have torches. I believe they are acetylene, but they are torches that spit fire out that they use to weld underwater.
Yep. Oh yeah, they did a lot of underwater welding going on out there.
Yes, and it's a highly well paid skill trade set. One of my friends,
I was going to go.
Was licensed to do that.
I was going to go work with a group. They were underwater welds. I wasn't going for welding. I was going for tech stuff. But so they put you in a tank. You're underground. You're underwater for 30 days. You're in a pressurized tank. Yeah, it's big. I mean, it sleeps, I don't know, 12 or 14 people. They usually put about half that in there. And yeah, somebody makes you food and all. Oh yeah, but it's you're like sitting at the bottom of the ocean, and you go out in these suits you go out in aren't just regular diving suits. So you go out there and you do your underwater welding down there. But everybody sounds like Mickey Mouse in the thing. It's hilarious for like the first 10 days you're there because it's just
because you have a high nitrogen mix. It's not.
Well, you see that these guys are like, and
they sound like the chipmunks.
It's too much sometimes. You're like, Jesus, dude, stop! You're killing me. You're just killing me. Stop it. It's Well, no, I learned diving in the Navy. I learned skydiving in the Navy too. Well, I kind of cheated with the diving because a friend of mine who was an offshore diver, he used to take us diving in Destin to teach us how to dive correctly. They get these what they call blue holes in Destin, Florida, and you can dive these things, and they're really, really deep, and they're really, really pretty. And you can just, as far as I know, I've never seen any sharks there, so. I didn't even see any alligators. I think the water's too cold for the alligators. Probably for the sharks too.
Yeah,
the water's cold.
Mitch wants to know how deep was the underwater welding station.
The one, what was it? It was 700 feet, I think, 600 feet. They had one that went to 2,200 feet, but I don't think they actually left. I think they used some kind of control arms to work with. It's well, they're just basically diving bells is what they are, but they're big. No, hold on. I'll be back. I'll be back in a minute.
I think I know what you're talking about, and I think I can find that picture. The diving suit's like a hard armor for being down that far. And it's very much like the Dogu figures, to be quite honest. Yep, there it is.
I can see I'm going to have to go through and edit this show. I got about 5 minutes. That was a call ahead of time. Well, Well, no, they know I'm live tonight. Yes, don't even no. Let's just leave it alone. We'll talk about me at the end of the show. That was So they compressed it up. They stuck you in there, and they didn't lower you to the bottom either.
No.
Oh no, it took. If I remember right, it was 6 hours going, 10 hours coming. Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Here we go.
They made buku money.
There is an underwater atmospheric diving suit, one that a person might wear while welding deep underwater.
They well, Ramey, they do welding all up and down the rig. Well, it's a rig in salt water. It's a steel rig in salt water. Shit's gonna, go bad from time to time. No, I was a tech guy. I didn't. No, I dove. Everybody had to be a rated diver to be there. You couldn't work there. Didn't matter what your regular job was. You had to be a rated diver. I didn't mind going. I just didn't like being out for 30 and 40 days at a time. Well, I had a girlfriend. That's why. You go out for 40. I mean, even I made. It's just even in today's money, it would be big money. That's how good it's a dangerous job. Just being in that tank underwater for 30 days is extremely dangerous. It's bad for your body. It's bad for your mind. It's bad for your heart. And then going in and out and then coming back up anywhere along the line, you can get the bends.
Yeah. You have to go up and stop, wait a few minutes, then go up and stop, wait a few minutes.
Well, they had a special tank on board. It looked like a torpedo tube, basically. Actually, it was two of them. They could slide you in there and keep you at whatever pressure they needed to, because they couldn't just rise you up to the surface. And a lot of times, once you were down there, if something happened to you, they still just couldn't bring you back up because they had to complete the job before they could come back up. So they would put you in these tanks, and it would just hold you to keep the bubbles from multiplying and killing you. Don't ask me, I've actually been inside of one of those tanks before. Everybody in the group, the original first group I was in, everybody had to go as part of your training. Because
was that before or after firefighter school?
Firefighter school's in boot camp.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Before, definitely.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff in boot camp you have to learn. You have to learn CPR and all kind of other stuff. It's you're on a ship in the middle of no fucking place. You got to take care of your partner. He gets his arm blown off. You got to know what to do. Actually, they say put a strap, take your belt, put it on there to slow down the blood, and then find something and get your torch and heat it up, and then cauterize the wound. Yeah. Well, these jobs didn't, Mish. These jobs had good insurance. They had good everything, actually. Good food, good insurance, good everything. And these companies took really good care because, experienced divers are hard to get. Experienced welders that can weld underwater is extremely hard to find. So, they really wanted to make sure. Yeah, they wanted
it's an extremely niche skill set and very, very highly paid and highly insured. And lots of perks and extras for doing the job on time under budget.
Yes, it is. Lots of perks for doing it under budget. Well, no, I had electronics. I that's why they wanted me to go down, because they needed, in the early days, they didn't put people down with tech skills, just the people who were working. And they didn't even put cooks or anything down there. You had to take care of all your own stuff. But then, because they were keeping people down for 30 days and stuff, and sometimes longer, it's an umbilical. So it does have its own lights and water and pressure and all, but most everything is run off of umbilicals. They're dropped down from a ship above. Well, I'm sorry, from the rig above. Actually, sometimes it is a ship above, but okay. What was that noise? I guess something has arose to my house. Well, people, I'll be right back, and after this, hopefully, I won't be getting bugged anymore. And you can't get wait. Oh, you can if you fly a helicopter. Ain't that a bitch? I imagine here it's expensive.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah, especially to do
Well,
tours.
it takes a certain skill set. That's another skill set. Flying an airplane is one thing. Flying a helicopter, a whole another game. Yeah.
Think about
But
the
anyway,
insurance to run a theme park like Walt Disney World or Disneyland.
yeah, and
You know,
all of that stuff's
100,000 people
outrageous.
go through there daily.
Remind me when you come back. I'm going to tell you about this ride that how many insurance claims this one ride paid off. But anyway, I'll be right back, guys. Let me go get all this garbage. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Yeah, definitely a chance to get in badly. Yeah, helicopters. I never have been on one. Always wanted to, but yeah, it's. I can imagine the insurance would be so skyrocket that you wouldn't be able to run such a tour service for very long. Yeah, very high risk. But yeah, I have absolutely 100%. I think running any kind of thing like that. Just think about the amount of people that walk through Walt Disneyland and Disney World per year. It's got to be in the millions, or at least up to 1 million. There's so many people there. I don't know how many people go in during the day, but it's every time I've ever been to Disneyland or Disney World, it's been jam packed. I mean, wall to wall people. Wall to wall people. So I do think insurance is kind of a scam. They're making all of us here in America buy we're forced to buy two kinds of insurance. One is for our car, we're driving, which I see that there's benefits to that. And then now with the Obamacare, our health insurance, we don't have it. We get fined on our income tax, which I think is a bunch of crap, but it's happening. Oh, wow. Okay, so she was airlifted medically to a hospital there, Mish. Oh, wow. Well, hope everything is fine now. I actually was when I was just after college. I edited a piece. It was an apparatus that goes on helicopters, but it was an ambulance type of device that you mount inside the helicopter, so when you bring the gurney in, you can slide the patient onto it to take them to either a hospital or to another facility. And my friend's mother got him the job, and we went up to Atlanta. I edited the piece. Took me like a day and a half, and the guy gave us $500, which we went and immediately spent at the Dragon Con in Atlanta. It was most excellent. Well, I'm glad she's okay. But that's not any way I'd want to have to get a ride. You know, God, it would scare me to death, even if I wasn't hurt. So, and speaking of helicopters, there are no more helicopters over Gaza so far. The ceasefire seems to be holding. I'm just still waiting, just I guess it's the doomsday in me. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. And I guess we'll hear it come to the ground on Monday.
All right. I got balloon showed up for some weird reason with cake, chicken, and ham. Man, I'll be munching for the next 2 days, man. Oh, welcome back, everybody.
Is it ham or spam?
Ham. Yeah, they always like to do a big ham when they're doing family stuff. Welcome, everybody. Oh, we got to go to break in a few minutes, don't we? Maybe not.
Oh, yeah, so we do.
We'll see.
Need a song, huh?
See, I like to fly everywhere I can go. Well,
I do enjoy flying in planes. I don't know about helicopters, but planes for sure.
Well, what's funny is I guess in reality, I like to fly. Sometimes I like to drive sometimes. But I do like road trips. When we went up to Devil's Tower, that was pretty cool. Got to go see where E.T. was probing what's his name at. It's you get to see so much more when you're driving. It's like when we went up to Utah 2 years ago. One time I flew, one time I drove. Well, I've been up there more than that, but when we drove last time, we drove up through Colorado, through a couple of Indian reservations. All over the place. Found Moab, Utah. Went up there. It was beautiful. I'll have to go send the dog to the pound if it don't stop with its barking. I mean, it's beautiful up there. Then we found some big ET place at the start of some interstate somewhere. And the cops don't care how fast you drive up there, by the way. Speed limit's 85. I'm doing 95. They didn't even look at me. They're like, yeah, you're kind of going slow. Speed up some, you know. It's it really is a beautiful place. Helicopters. I dealt with a lot of helicopters when I was in the service, and I actually worked on a lot and actually jumped out of quite a few. Well, anytime the Navy drops you off, like, well, you're gonna go tread waters for 10 hours. They do it in a helicopter. They hover over the water and just basically throw your ass out there. Well, everybody in the Navy learns in boot camp how to leave a ship. So, you know, well, most ships are
feet first.
Yeah, most ships are several stories out of the water, so you have to learn how to jump properly. Well, everybody does a 10-story jump. You have to. You can't even qualify boot camp without doing it. It's only 100 feet. It sounds high. It is high, but it is and it isn't really. Well, yeah, you have to. So you put your life jacket on and you take this on and you do like this and you pull down and you put your feet together and you just step off and put your feet together, keep them down, point your toes down when you hit the water, and you just go whoosh. Well, if you don't point your toes, you're going to hit flat and you're not going to curve. You want to be able to curve up a little bit so in case you're in shallow water, which you're not going to be on a ship that size, so you ain't got to worry about that. Yeah, if you're on a ship that's 10 stories out of the water, that means at least 5 stories are in the water. It means you're sitting in probably a couple hundred feet of water, so you're probably okay. Yeah, you have to jump off. You have to learn fire. There's all kind of stuff you got to learn in boot camp. You have to be pretty much you have to be independent. You have to be able to take care of yourself, take care of your people. Yeah. But you mean everybody's got to learn. You got swimming. This is the first thing you do in boot camp. When we graduated, you had to be able to swim 2 miles. Swimming 2 miles is not even a thing. We used to do that just to get away from the alligators when we were kids. You idiot. Alligators swim about 10 times as fast as humans do. They're not usually interested in humans. Even though, where was it? Japan had invaded an island. And the very first time I heard the story, I thought it was one of those wives' tales. And come to find out it wasn't. So they invaded this island, and they had been there for a while, and the U.S. had sent in troops and had surrounded them and had forced them into the middle of the swamp. And the commander of the U.S. Troops had said all night long they kept hearing screaming. They figured, maybe one of the other companies had ran into them. Next morning, they didn't find any of them. They found a bunch of stuff laying around, equipment and all, and then they started finding bits and pieces of Japanese soldiers. So they estimated there was more than 5,000 saltwater crocodiles living back there. Salty crocs are the most aggressive of any of the animals out there. They're just extremely aggressive. I guess one of them got killed, started screaming, jumping around there, and blood hit the water. Next thing you know, adios amigos. According to the report, they ate the entire regiment of 2,000 Japanese soldiers. I wasn't there, so I couldn't tell you. Well, there are a lot of people who've talked about it, and it is officially by both militaries. It is officially a real story, but 2,000, I don't know. Some people say it was more, some people say it was less. All I know for sure is all the military commanders who were there, which were it was Marines and Green Beret Army, and they all said the same thing. They weren't going in because all they heard was they heard gunshots and screaming nonstop for several hours, and then it was just quiet. And then at dawn, they all went in. They got on the radios and talked to each other and came in from different areas. Well, the overall commander said he didn't even see anything. He didn't see any alligators anywhere or any crocodiles. He said, but there were massive. He said there was massive footprints like this. That's a big gator. That's 16, 18, 20 feet, or a crocodile. That's easily can eat a man. But crocodiles are like sharks. Man, blood hits the water, they go into a frenzy. It's if you're in Australia, you know what a crocodile is. Y'all got massive crocodiles down there, 25 footers and stuff. Hell, it amazed me. In Australia's the only place the crocodiles and great whites go out and fight each other to see who's going to patrol the shoreline.
Yeah.
The great white, crocodiles don't always win. They win a lot, but they don't always win. Sometimes a big great white will come along and just snap them in half.
They also have makos down there too, I think, which is also a very large shark.
Yeah, makos get pretty big. Pete, the biggest one, what is it? A blading shark? What do they call them? No, it's not violent. It's huge and it eats krill or something. Yeah, it siphons it through its
alien eater.
Yeah. It's not a
no, I think it eats krill.
That's what it is.
Like little shrimp, maybe little thing shrimp.
That's what they are. They're just little tiny baby shrimp. It's that's what they are. When you look on when you look on the magnet glass, they look just like little baby shrimp. Almost like the little free dries ones you see in the grocery store, but way smaller. I don't know, Randy. Sharks are just sharks. I mean, they're just doing what they do naturally. I mean, it's not
the whale
like
shark isn't actually a shark. I believe it's a whale, like a cetacean.
Yeah,
mammal.
Oh yeah, well yeah, the big one is, and it's. Well, no, if it's breathing through its gills, it's a fish. If it's breathing air, it's a shark. I mean, it's an animal. Well, dolphins aren't a fish; they're an animal because they breathe out air through. They have to surface to get air. If you're living underwater and you're breathing, you're a fish. Whales and dolphins can't breathe underwater. They have to surface to get air. Because at one time or another, they were both upright walking animals or mammals on the planet. So when you look at a dolphin's setup, when you look at him, you're going to see a spine, a straight spine like ours, which is very weird. At the bottom, there are two fins that angle out like this, each with 5 fingers, or 5 toes, I should say in that case. And you could tell at one time they used to extend out further. It's the same thing with the front flippers because of the way they're distance. It would just be the same distance between our feet and our hands. So they're actually even in the same places. So at one time, and they have 5 fingers and what looks to be what might have been even a thumb. Now this is in their, this is in their flippers now.
Under their one time, under the skin in their flippers, yes.
So at one time, they were a lot like us. And remember this, their brains are bigger than ours and they have more senses than we do. So who's more intelligent here? And wait a minute, it's more than that. They occupy.
That's how they breathe, Mish. It's I forget what they call it, but it's how they breathe, that hole on top of their head. You'll see when they surface, they'll come up, it'll open up, they'll spit all the water out that they've collected in there to pressurize themselves. And then
that's why they call it a blowhole.
And breathe in with it.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Dolphins love us. Dolphins are only, besides dogs, dolphins are the only other animal that went out and to help man on its own. Wolves and dogs. Well, the wolves jumped across the cataclysm in the beginning. Dolphins, I guess, wanted to make sure we were okay before they put their ass on the line. Well, we don't eat dolphins. And before anybody starts, we eat dolphin fish, not dolphins. Even the crazy Japanese who will eat any fish that moves don't eat dolphins. They did it one time, but they made them quit. But they eat dolphin fish. Yeah, there's a thing called the dolphin. It's a fish. So you got the dolphin mammal and then you got the dolphin fish. Don't ask me why they named them the same thing. I have nothing to do with none of the names. That's just somebody back in the day. That's what they named them. The only animal currently that anybody on this planet thinks is an alien is an octopus. They think octopus are not from Earth. Matter of fact, one of the guys said he's pretty sure what happened is inside some rocks or somewhere, there was some baby octopus that had been encased, and when it hit Earth and broke into the ocean, it broke open. And well, octopus can live on land too. They've been known to cross islands just to get to the other side. They've been noticed to break into places to get food. They caught one in a dumpster in Hawaii. He come out of the water, climbed into the dumpster to get
And
food,
they
and
can
went
breathe
back
air.
into
They
the
can
water.
breathe in water and air. So they're weird things.
And they can mangle their bodies around like I've seen I've seen big octopus get through things I just didn't even think was possible because they can just stretch themselves out. It's just weird. I don't know. Maybe they're from octopus world. Who knows where they're from? But a lot of scientists do not think they were native to Earth because there's no other animals like them anywhere on the planet. It's them and squid aren't even really like octopus. Squid are a little bit different than octopus. I'll tell you this much though: they both are good eating. I hope they're not really.
I think
intelligent
squid's a little
animals.
bit better than octopus. Octopus is kind of rubbery.
I find them both either rubbery or good, just depending on the way they cook. They got a Greek restaurant I used to like to go to for lunch, and you could either one or you could get half and half. And I noticed it was all in the way it was cooked because if it was cooked too hot, too fast, it was like you could use them for rubber bands. It doesn't matter what kind it was. They were cooked right. It was like they were delicious. What are you talking? You can eat them anyway, but most people eat them fried.
Yeah,
Deep fried.
breaded and fried.
Yeah.
Calamari.
No, you can get them anyway. Well, a friend of mine likes to get the arms and they stuff them with crab meat and other like
Yeah, you
tuna
can
and shit like
get
that.
them made in sushis too as
You
well.
know,
They
I
have-
mean that's up to you. But if I'm going to eat them, I'm going to eat them fried, deep fried. I like them that way. They're good.
There's a dish called Aidako, I think it is, Aidako, and it's baby pickled octopus, and it's a little baby octopus. They're about, I don't know, that big around, 8 tentacles. They're just, I mean, they're just little baby. It's like the size of the big fat number 2 pencil. They're about that size of a pencil eraser, and that's what they're like. It's like eating a pencil eraser.
Hey Joe, how you doing?
Hey,
It's
Joe Black.
it's just one of those things. But right now on this planet, it's very weird here right now. You know, they keep finding all these new species around. Like, where the hell are they coming from?
Yeah.
No, we keep just finding them. Like every other day, we're finding some new species. It's almost like Earth's getting ready for a reset or something.
They also, I mean, there's a lot of new discoveries. One of my researcher friends, Arlen Andrews, posted something on I don't know if I'm going to pronounce it right, Teherahan Tepe. It's one of the newer tepes they found in Turkey that they're dating to starting at around 14,600 BCE, which is during the Ice Age allegedly. But they uncovered one of those T pillars with a human face carving on it, and the first of its kind so far. So that's I've been following that. If anyone else is following that, you would want to know that this news, it is fascinating. Why, and out of all the pillars they found in all the other 6 or 7 tepes throughout Turkey, why only this first one with a human figure carved on it? It's very intriguing.
Sometimes I think it's just because, get off the screen thing. Sometimes I think it's just because that's all that was left. You know, there was probably more at one time where it was destroyed or this, that, or the other thing. And then sometimes I think that's just the way it was done. I mean, they had something set up and that's the way it worked out. Because I had noticed, I'd seen some petroglyphs lately. And there were image. And then right at the end, there was like a face. And each face looked differently. So I'm imagining the expression meant something. And then there was something we would consider like the Jolly Roger, the old Skull and Bones one as well, which we use, of course, for toxic stuff in our own world today. It was just weird. I mean, and a lot of this stuff, they have no idea because there's no Rosetta Stone, so they don't know what some of these petroglyphs means. It's like, and even some of the hieroglyphs today, they still don't know what they mean, which is confusing. But when I was listening to the guy from the Cairo Museum, he was saying it's because each dynasty sometimes changed the language somewhat.
Yeah, absolutely.
He said,
I mean, that's the same thing. That's why they don't know how large or big certain things. They don't know how big the ark was, because every king, when they came around a new kingdom or a new ruler, that that's another reason why you call a measuring stick a ruler. Every new ruler, there was a new measuring system. So if the king's forearm was longer than the king before him, you had to, change all the standard measurements around. It was extremely strange and bizarre times.
It's it really was. What's that, Christopher?
And good segue too, by the way. I have a thing I'd like to talk about, or at least let the audience send us some. You and I talked about this yesterday. So going back really far in history, the Bible says, and now our audience, I'd like you guys to send your ideas how this works. The Bible says that Adam and Eve lived in harmony with all the animals and in harmony with nature. But it also says that they were able to speak with and communicate with all of the animals. How is this possible? Did they go out and learn how to bark and whinny and neigh and hoot and holler like the animals? I don't think so.
Wow.
I'm
sorry.
Joe got it right away, but it was just something we talked about off the air the other night. So give me your ideas out there, everyone who's listening. How were we able to communicate with the animals if we weren't using language? Think about that still on that. Send your comments in the YouTube and Facebook messengers. Send them to Joe, and we'll try to remember. We'll reveal the answer at the end. But it's an intriguing idea.
Wait. Oh, hey, Carly, how you doing? Where'd you come from? Oh, on Messenger. I'm sorry. It's a lot of weird stuff going on today, every day actually. Oh, don't even get me started on the fucking Peace Prize. Just let's just not go there because
I think we lambasted that group enough.
It's besides that. I mean, because we're just gonna. It's just bullshit, is what it was. I don't. What the hell that come from? Sorry, somebody sent me something very weird.
They're trying to cover their ass. At least the. Whoever they are that picks the prize winner, they're trying to cover their butts by saying that his application or nomination was late or didn't conform to certain guidelines within getting there on time or some bullshit like that. So it seems like they've been taken over by the Democrats.
Well, they said they talked about the Venezuela chick and why they picked her and all, but. Well, there's no conservatives on the board or the panel. There's no centrists or independents on the board. Panels.
Only they're all liberals. Exactly. So of course,
well, they're not all liberals. Some of them are socialists, but that's all there is socialists and liberals. Well, that's why when you go look, if you go look at all the people they've given it to anywhere in the world, almost every person that gets it is a liberal. And I'm kind of like, wow. I said, so you're not really giving people on their merit. You're just doing it because of their political affiliation, and is why you're really giving it to them. Well, in this case, not so much, Glenn, because the chick they gave it to for Venezuela is a Trump fan. Or she was the other day, anyway. What am I looking at? Hold on. I'm on big screen. It won't let me see everything.
I just put Mish's text up.
Yeah, well, of course it's telepathy.
Yeah, it can be the only answer. Well, empathy too, I think. I was reading
to an extent, yeah, but I think dogs themselves show some empathy themselves because they can tell your mood.
One of those feeds came across my wall. I don't look at Facebook that often, but maybe once a week or whatever. But this little boy, I think he was 13. He was autistic, and his family went into the woods camping for a weekend, and during a hike in the afternoon, he disappeared. And so while they were searching for him, he came out of the woods. I think they said 5 hours later, after that, I guess 5 hours after they discovered he was missing. So he's been gone for at least 5 hours or more. He walks out of the woods all by himself, and they said, "How did you get your way back here?" And he said, "The wolves guided me." And everyone's thought, "Oh yeah, bullshit, whatever. The wolves would have eaten him up." A couple of days later, a hunter who hunts in that same general vicinity retrieved his game cameras, and lo and behold, on not one, not two, but 3 different game cameras, there is a parade of a wolf, the autistic boy, a wolf, and a wolf on all 3 cameras and the wolves were guiding him back towards the camping area where he had gotten lost from. Hey, Sherry. So I absolutely agree. 100% empathy has to be, or some sort of a telepathic or teleempathic connection between the empathic child and the wolves. The wolves detected his fear and lonesomeness that he's like, oh, I can't find my family. I'm going to die. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. And these normally aggressive predators are like, we got to take him home.
Yeah, Jack the
Yeah,
lead
Mitch, this
wolf.
is on Facebook. If you look on Facebook, you might find it. I was shocked. I was like, "Wow, holy,
Well, it's
holy
not the
shnikes."
first time. I mean, there's been stories for hundreds of years about wolves helping children out.
I
or
don't
people
really
living
know
with
many of
wolves.
those. I've heard stories about dolphins helping people in the water.
Yeah, no. The wolf stories are. I know there's one in Africa and one in Europe where the wolf is basically adopted the kid.
Romulus and Remus, the founders of Rome, they were helped by wolves in legend.
And well, Gene. So I was hunting in the Chapalaya Basin, which is just a massive swamp. Is basically what it is. So we were down there, me and a couple of friends of mine, and we were going on like it's about a 9-day trip. So we took the boat out as far as we could, and then we got on land and we started walking. And we tied up all the boats, made sure they were secure, and got all our gear and started walking. That was about 2 nights in. We were sitting down. You could hear the wolves. You could hear the coyotes first yipping, and then you hear the wolves. And we were cooking. I still remember Randy was frying bacon, and boy, it smelled good too. As well, man.
I'll bet, yeah.
Man. And then all of a sudden, I looked to the side of me, and I could see 4 white eyes. They're kind of gleaming from the fire. They were glowing from the fire. I said, "Uh-oh." So I reached over slowly and grabbed my 12 gauge and slid it up on my leg. And I looked to the left of me. There's 3 more over there. I'm like, "Uh-oh." I said, "Okay." And there was a bunch of us. I can't remember exactly.
Everybody grab a piece of bacon and throw them 2 that way and 3 that way. Go.
So I said, I looked over. I said, "You grab your guns. Don't panic." And then I looked up at Randy. I said, "You see, well, you got that done." I said, take a handful. And I said, toss it inside the fire line on both sides. He's like, "Well," I said, "because I want to see him come out of the woods." And he's like, "Joe," I said, "just do it." So he threw them out there, and they looked, and you could see them trying to make themselves, walk out into the light.
Stomachs would eventually argue enough with them; they would have no choice but to eat it. Yes.
Well, so the big one comes walking in between the two, just pushes them out the way, eats all the bacon. So he come walking right into the camp. He's like, "I want some more, man." And so Michael had killed a rabbit earlier that day, so he slaughtered him up and started throwing them to him. They had a field day. They followed us around the next 8 days. Never bothered us at all. And it probably saved us from some shit. One of them come walking out, walking up behind us with a diamondback rattler in his mouth. He done killed us like on a trail we were getting ready to head up on.
That's nice. Yeah. So they were helping you out if you were dropping bacon.
Well,
that's cool as shit.
The very last very last day we were there, we had killed 3 does and a buck, and it was way too much for us to carry out because we didn't have the boats with us because we'd already killed some stuff early. We had a lot, so he cut up the doe and put it out there, and sure enough, they came in, ate the whole damn doe. And not in one sitting though. They ate a bunch, and you could see them. They like disappeared for a while. And then you seen them all laying around the carcass. And next morning they were out there gnawing on it, and we took off. And about a day later they caught up with us on the way back to the boat, and they walked all the way back to the boat with us. They weren't hungry because I tried throwing something to eat. They were like, "No, we're good, thank you."
Yeah, you guys filled their bellies that whole weekend.
Yeah, so they walked us all the way back to the boat, and we took off.
Joe, by the way. According to local ASPCA guidelines, sorry to inform you, but you and your buddies, those wolves are now yours.
Yes.
You fed them, they're yours.
Yeah.
They come down sick, and the ASPCA comes by and found out you fed them, you got to pay for the medicine.
They actually did. They tell you when you go back, no, don't feed the wildlife, especially the gators, because gators will follow your ass around too. But they're a little less indiscriminate than the wolves, or they might just take a hand when they get hungry. Jack, yeah, it gets crazy on the swamp. Yeah, I'll give you. Y'all want a scary swamp story? Okay, this is a true story, by the way. So this isn't even.
Halloween story. Get ready, people.
So we were back in Honey Island Swamp, and Honey Island Swamp is where the Honey Island Swamp monster lived. So we're back. We weren't looking for a swamp monster. We were doing other stuff. So a friend of ours, it's actually two stories. I'll tell you both of them. But the first one, so we're back there looking for this old plantation where Marie Laveau supposedly had been buried. This is before I had met her great grandson, which I did, and he actually showed me where she was really buried. But anyway, so we're back there. We had 2 boats full of people. It was 2, 4, 6, 8. There was 12 of us total, 6 in each boat. So 2 of the guys were walking on the edge of the bayou, pulling the boats along. And they had the trawler motor running. They could control it with the rope from where we were. So anyway, I'm roping a stick, crazy remote control. But anyway, we're walking along, and the other 5 of us on each side of the bank are spread out. And we're just walking and trying to see what we're seeing. So then we got to a point where the canal narrowed, so we had to put the boats behind each other, and everybody got on one side of the bank. So we're walking along, got to another point where we couldn't pull the boats anymore. The water was too shallow. So we tied the boats up, took all the keys, anything of any consequence that was important, even though we were 15, 16 miles back in the swamp. I doubt, and it was early in the morning. I doubt anybody was back there with us, but regardless, so we did. So we walked for about another hour, and sure enough, we walked up on this old white-looking plantation. The funny part was there was not a window broken in it anywhere. Not one, which was kind of creepy. Got inside of the place. There was no mold inside. None of the wood was rotten. Fucking place looked pretty good. I was like, well, this is weird. The whole outside was covered in what I guess was green moss. So one of the guys thought he was going to be smart, and he made a Molotov cocktail and threw it at the house. He's going to burn it to the ground. It went out. He tried it 3 or 4 times. It went out. Then he went and got the gas can, went and dumped it all around the house. It went out. It wouldn't burn
because the moss was too wet.
I guess it wouldn't burn. So then he got man threw a rock at the window, and it bounced back and hit him in the fucking head. I'm not kidding y'all. He whipped it. He couldn't have been more than 5 feet. He whipped it. And you see, I said, whoop, there goes a window. And it just kind of paused, and it came back and hit him in the head. I said, dude, I don't know what's going on here, but whatever it is, I'd stop effing with it. All right. I said, before something ungodly happens that we don't want to know about. So we're all spread out. We're looking around. We're walking through. There's stuff in the house. There's still furniture and stuff. There's a piece of
someone's keeping it up, whether it's a ghost or an extraterrestrial or something.
There was like little knick-knack things around the place and all.
I have a rock bounce story just like that. When I was in college in Savannah, I had my mom had given me her car, which was I think it was a 1987 Caprice Classic, formerly Impala station wagon. Didn't have a V8. I think it was a 305 V6. It was still pretty nice, powerful car. It had this little triangular windows, right? There's little weird things. They weren't the kind that opened like in the old days, but it's just a little trapezoidal window. And someone had broken out those windows one day, and so I just replaced that whole glass and everything with plexiglass. And I came over to the car one day again, and there was a mark on the window, like on the plexiglass, like a little chip mark. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And it was like something had hit it. And I looked on the ground, and there was a rock with a little droplet of blood both on the rock and on the concrete next to it. So apparently somebody was trying to break into my car, leaned real down low and went boom and threw the rock right at the window, and it bounced right back and hit him in the head, bloodied his forehead. And then the rock landed on the ground. It was hilarious.
That's stupid people. It really is.
I hope it was the same guy that broke it out the first time. It serves him right.
Yeah, it does. Wait, no, Pete. So no, I wouldn't finish. I was just letting Jay tell us about the thing. So anyway, we finally get in the back of the house. There's actually a butane tank back there with butane in it. Not much, but there was probably it was one of them tall tanks, some 100-gallon tanks.
For what, cooking?
Yeah, it's a butane tank for cooking and for heat. And so we were all kind of like, but there was no footprints anywhere. It was sloppy, muddy around the place. You couldn't see, not even animal tracks. There was nothing around. So we get in the back, and I'm walking along, and I was wearing knee boots. I was going to get my hip boots. And I said, nah, they're too heavy. So, and I hit something. My boot hit something. I heard it go, ch-ch. Like, what the hell is that? So I come back, and I'm looking. There's a case buried in the mud. We pull it out. And John says, what is that? He gets in there and says, is that moonshine? He said, what is it? No. it was 11 grand in cash.
Wow.
And well, wait, it's better than that. So it was 11 grand. When you count it out, it was 11 grand. It was worth 31,000 because of a lot of the bills were collectible bills.
Oh,
That's
shit.
how old it was. But there was 12 of us. So I mean, it's not like it was a, I forgot what we all, it wasn't a ton of money. It was like 3 grand, or not, it wasn't even that. I think it was like 2 grand each, or 2.8 or something like that. But anyway, we were like, wow, that's interesting. Then I said, man, you sure we should take this? I mean, but you could tell nobody had been in the house forever. And then as we start to move around, there was a little dock going out to the water, and we were like, wow, I wonder how we could get the boats over here. We was trying to figure out where the water came from, and there was 4 little graves there. It looks like a mama, a daddy, and 2 babies.
Wow.
One on each side. The one grave was about this long, so I would say probably newborn, or one here. The other one was probably about 3 foot, so probably a kid, 8 or 9 years old, something like that. And then a mom and a dad. Don't know what happened. Don't even know who buried them. Don't even know their names. They just said, here lies father, here lies mother, and then the 2 kids. It didn't even give a. It was weird. I mean, I explain it. It's just this creepy, weird rush came over me. Like, what the is this? And the weird part was so you had the mom and dad buried in the center, and then the kids were up a little bit and angled a little bit. And straight from the middle is where the chest was buried, about 10 feet straight ahead of it. And you couldn't even really see the graves until you walked up on them, because, man, the place was riddled with moss. They had the green moss growing and everything. Then they had the gray moss hanging on everything.
The Spanish moss. Yeah.
The Spanish moss. Yeah, it was like something out of a freaking movie.
Well, it's weird because the Spanish moss is dry and the green moss is usually moist or wet.
Yeah, but the Spanish moss grows in a swamp.
It also grows in savanna, which is a swamp, basically.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It grows in a swamp, but the green mold grows in a swamp too. It's just one grows up and one grows down is basically what it is.
That's exactly.
But anyway, so we're like, wow, man. So we're moving around. We found 2 pirogues, hand carved out of one piece of wood. I haven't seen those pirogues. Had to be 100 years old at least. And so 2 of us walked up the waterway all the way. We found the open lake, and then we walked all the way back around, which was like 10 miles, and we found our boats. So we brought the boats back around. We could drive them. I brought them back and parked them behind the house, and we stayed there for a couple of days. Did not see any. Didn't catch a fish either, by the way. We didn't even see an alligator. Didn't see. It was creepy. It was like, I would say, for a quarter mile in any direction, there was nothing. There was lots of foliage and lots of green and lots of thick underbrush, but there was nothing else. Not even insects. I didn't even get bit by a freaking mosquito in the middle of the swamp in the middle of summer. Come on. But once we got but when we got in the boats and came around, you were seeing shit all over, eyes, because we had the Q beams out. You were seeing eyes all over the place, insect eyes, bug eyes, bird eyes, animals, all kind of stuff. But there was a point it stopped. And then we realized not shortly after that we were at the house. It was creepy. I looked in every registry I could find. It was definitely a plantation at one time. What kind of plantation, I couldn't tell you. There was nothing around. There was like no cotton gins laying around. It looked like there was a remnants of a couple of sheds, but they had pretty much been melted and eaten by the swamp. It was amazing. The house was intact. I mean, it gave you the sense when you went inside of it.
Is it still there? Do you still go to it?
I haven't been in 30 years. But last I heard, it was still there. I had talked to Marco about 10 years ago. He said it was still there. He said, as far as he knows, nobody even knows it's back there.
Maybe you got to go back and do another investigation on it.
And it's a bit hard to get to, but it's not impossible. And for the ordinary person, if you're not a local swamper, you're not going back there. You're going to be like, screw this. Once you get back most people I find, once you get back about 6 miles in the swamp, start getting swampy fever, man. They want to turn around. They get 10 miles and they start getting jitsy and jumpy. And because by that time, you don't see anything but animals. There's alligators all over. You see big snapper turtles half the size of your boat and shit. They could take off your whole arm with one snap. There's all kind of bugs and insects and snakes and spiders. And you got black widows back there, water moccasins back there. alligator, snapper, you name it. I mean, everything back there wants to kill you. You know, so it gets a little creepy crawly. I mean, growing up as a kid, you know what to stay away from and what to look for, but still, it's still a little bit freaky. And then just the sheer scariness of what else could be back there, what paranormal thing could be back there. You know, when you see this house, you know there's something paranormal involved in it, you know, but you don't know what. And whatever it was, I can't say it didn't feel hostile, but it wasn't hostile. It didn't try to hurt anybody, the best I could tell. I mean, your boy got hit with the rock, but that's his own stupid ass for throwing the rock at the window. And as far as burning the place, matter of fact, Carlos got up on the roof and dropped a Molotov on top of the roof, which was a semi-metal roof, and it wouldn't catch. It didn't even must the paint, and it wasn't no mold up there. It didn't even change the color of the paint. It was, and you know what else was creepy? It burned like a fuel fire, and then all of a sudden the whole fire got this weird, creepy blue color to it. It just like was waving blue. There was no orange in it at all. Only time I've ever seen that is on a acetylene fire. I've never seen that on just an open fire before.
Yeah, the acetylene kind of glows blue green, right?
Yeah, it was just creepy. But anyway, we stayed back there. We had a good time. We got drunk as a skunk, partied down, didn't catch any fish, didn't kill anything. Got back at the boats, came back around, and then it's a 5-day walk before everybody can get in a boat because the water's too shallow.
What did you do with the pirogues? Did you keep them?
We tied them to the back boat and towed them out. Yeah, I forgot. They one sold for like 18,000 at auction, and the other one, Louisiana, came and confiscated. So it was at the auction, and I guess the auction house called them, "Hey JV," and they confiscated it because they said it was an antiquity.
Those are my initials too, John.
She tried. The lady at the historic place tried to say that it was carved by some native group. But then they wanted a cut out of the sale of the first one. You know when people find treasure,
both of those steps mission just use peppermint oil.
Yeah, you know when they find treasure, when you go treasure hunting, you find treasure, you got to give like 60%. Right off the bat to whatever state it is, and then whatever state part to the government, then you get to keep like 20% of it. They were doing the same thing with these fucking canoes. And the best part is the one canoe was made out of mahogany. The other canoe, the wood was not native to Honey Island Swamp.
Mm.
Yeah, it was somewhere up the East Coast, somewhere way up the East Coast. Don't ask me how I got down there. Maybe it was a log that floated down around the Atlantic, got thrown in the swamp by a hurricane. Hey JV, how you doing, sweetie? It's look, there's no telling how that wood got back in the swamp, but that place was creepy back there. I mean, the fact that you couldn't burn it was way creepy. But I mean, I didn't. None of my like psychic alarms were going off. Nothing was like, leave, Joe, you're in danger. I never felt. Matter of fact, in the house, I actually even felt a little comfortable. I fell asleep twice leaning against a wall. It's of course, I mean, we hadn't slept in days. When we used to make treks like that, because there's a lot of places in Louisiana you can go exploring, but a lot of them are deep in the swamp. So there used to be roads and stuff that used to go back there, or they used to have push flat bottom push boats or pirogues to get them back there. And so a lot of things were actually not built with roads; they were built without roads. The waterways were the roads, but not many people know those waterways anymore. So, but from time to time, you hear about stuff or you run across stuff. Matter of fact, just recently we took the boat back to a old sawmill way back in the swamp, and you can only get to it by a boat. And everything that had been cleared, it said they had cleared out 27,000 acres of trees. When we got there, there was trees everywhere. I mean, yeah. You could not even tell that somebody had been back there farming trees, but that was, over 100 years ago.
It's such a lush, wet environment. I imagine if you cleared a grove of trees, they would, recover quickly. 5-10 years, you'd have something.
See, today the rule is for every tree you plant, you have to put 2 back.
Yeah.
I mean, for every tree you take down, you have to put 2 back. And it's interesting, but it's a good idea, And Carly, they don't always take the stumps out. Sometimes they do, and sometimes they go out and they pull them or burn them. But a lot of times they just cut them as close to the ground as they can get them. and they just let them rot. I mean, they're just basically good fuel for the soil anyway. And it helps to hold the soil together until other trees take over. My damn backyard. So when I bought this property 14 years ago, from one side to the other side was clear. There was nothing on the bayou at all. It was all open. So the lot next door has just been sold. And it was completely, you could not see any water from it. Oh, they've been cutting for 2 weeks now, and they still got a third of the way to go to get all the trees out of the way so you can see the bayou. And then mine was completely clear, but I got some bulkhead damage, so I let a couple of pine trees grow so it holds the mud in place. Yeah, because if not, it'll take all the mud away in no time at all. Next thing you know, you'll lose 10 feet of property in a couple of days. Well, a couple of years, but still. But getting back to what we were talking about, so we finally leave, get back in the boats. We pull the boats around, did a little deer hunting, seen a couple of bears. Almost, they always tell me, oh, there's no panthers in Louisiana. My ass, I've seen at least 5 now. I'm like, oh no, Joe, there's just no bullshit. There sure is.
They have them in Florida. Why not in Louisiana?
Don't ask. Don't they talk about that shit? Well, there ain't no Florida. Well, guess what? There surely is panthers. But we don't argue about it. You just deal with it.
Hey, we got lions in the United States.
Yeah.
Of all
so
places.
we were leaving. We were about 3 days, maybe 2.5 days from getting to the car. And there was a part where we could drive
Panthers,
the boat.
yes.
Yeah, Panthers. So we drove the boats for a while. We get out the boat, it's night, but we didn't want to stop because we were ready, to be getting home. We were dirty, nasty, and none of us had a bath. God knows what we actually smelled like. So anyway, we're walking along that night, and we've been drinking a little bit, Randy had brought some homemade moonshine with us, and we sipping it. No, not Randy, Jeff did, and we sipping some homemade moonshine. I'm walking along, and man, you heard crack. I'm like, what the is that? Because these are twigs and branches about this big. You hear them pop, but they're snapping. I mean, we just came through there, 12 of us, and we didn't make that much noise. You could tell this was one thing, and whatever it was big. So all of a sudden you see Q beams coming on, spotlights coming on, I pulled out the big 50 million candle thing and started looking around it and seeing it until we're still walking. And then you hear pop, crack. And then I realized, I said, it sounds like it's coming from the other side of the bayou. And then you hear something goes in the water, and it's big. And you can hear it splashing coming across the bayou. And you can tell by just the noise that whatever it is big. So first thing I did, I take the 36 off, take the thing off the 45, click, everybody's armed now, and we're still walking because we want to get out the swamp. And when you're in the swamp, you're going to hear things that can be kind of scary sounding. And then you hear this thing hit the side of the bank. It's probably 75, 80 yards behind us, maybe 100. And you hear pop, and then you hear pace pick up, and then pop, and then a tree gets hit, and the damn tree just falls over. And I'm like, uh-oh, what the hell was that? So we pick up the pace, we're like, we're moving along a little faster. So we finally getting closer to where we can get back in the boats. And then all of a sudden, I don't know exactly what happened, but something pulls the boat on the side of the other boat back and pulls it back down the bayou about 35, 40 yards. Knocked my partner over, dropped him into the water. We had to go grab him because there are alligators back there. We probably wouldn't ate him, but still wanted to make sure. So I'm turning around, we're looking. I mean, there's probably a couple of 50, 60, 70 million candle beams shining through the woods at this point. And we're not seeing anything. We're not hearing anything. About 10 minutes goes by. I said, I'm going to go get the boat. He's like, no. I said, no, one of y'all come with me. I said, and I didn't. I had put my rifle back on my shoulder and I had my pistol out. And because I had those exploding hollow points in it, which I love. So I get back to the boat. I'm pulling the boat. I thought I seen something. And I said, no. So I pulled the boat, and then I hand the rope to my friend. I said, start pulling. I'm staying right here. He's like, well, I said, just pull the boat up. So he starts pulling the boat. I stand. And look, there's a big, massive oak tree out there. It's like, looks 250, 300-year-old oak tree. And it looked like something was peeking around it. So I lifted up the gun. I just took a slice out of the tree about this much. just, and then we didn't hear nothing. So we start walking again, and we're walking along. Then again, you hear pop. So at this point, we know we're being followed. We know we're being tracked. Now, what it could be, it could be the Honey Island Swamp Monster, Bigfoot, could be a big black bear, could be a big gator. Whatever it was big. There's no doubt whatever it was definitely big enough to mess us up. So you hear, all of a sudden, you hear something go around. It's like, pop, 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 pop. It's running around us now. It's trying to get in front of us. Well, that denotes intelligence. I'm like, okay, well, wait a minute now. This thing's trying to get in front of us. And then you hear it. It stops at the bayou. That's probably about 50 yards in front of us. And then you hear it starts moving forward, and it stops. And we're still walking forward because we're idiots. And then you hear it like something. It sounded like it was rushing towards us. Somebody lifts up the Q-beam, and you just see eyes, and all you hear is everybody unloaded several rounds, all 12 of us. All 12 of us. Pistols, rifles, everybody. And all pointing at the same place. So I figured, okay, you don't hear anything. So we're looking. No blood, nothing. I'm like, what the hell? There's no possible way we could have missed. Not everybody.
Not 12 people. Some had shotguns too, right? So if you got shotguns, rifles, and handguns, no way you didn't hit.
Low, and it's there's no way. And I'm like, well, what the hell is this? So now everybody's a little bit shaky. Wait, why did my camera go? So everybody's a little bit shaky. And so we finally get to the place we can get in the boat. We hop in a boat. It's still a day and a third out by boat. So I said, I want to go back and look again. Everybody's like, you idiot. We're not going back in there again. So we stop somewhere to get lunch. There's a little restaurant in the middle of the swamp, by the way. Only way to get to it is by boat. We stop and get some lunch. Really good food, by the way. Anyway, we have lunch. We told the guy at the place, he said, somebody else had said they had heard something big and there was some stuff going on. So we get to the boat launch. I go get my truck, and the game warden's there. And he's got a black bear. I mean, a monster black bear. It looked like he was 7.5 feet tall. He's big monster bear, riddled with bullets. Riddled. I looked at him. I was like, oh, shit. And I said, where you find him? He said, where? I said, oh, wow. He said, why? Where were y'all last night? I said, we were in such and such. I said, we were still a day and a half out. He said, yeah, we found him floating. He said, looked like he must have been shot and then wandered off and fell in the bayou. And it's amazing nothing ate him. We found him floating, headed this way. I was like, wow, okay. And so it's 50-50. That's what we shot up. I can't honestly say 100% it was, but it does make sense. Yeah, it must most likely make sense. And it was strange. Now, I had a good friend of mine. We were hunting in the Sabine River. We were Bigfoot hunting actually in the Sabine River Basin in the Texas.
Bigfoot hunting.
Yeah. And
what's a Bigfoot?
So we're back 60 miles in the swamp. I mean, 60 miles back in the swamp. So I'm actually sitting in the boat. I got bored and I was sitting in the boat making me something to eat. And it's one thing, we always bring a lot of food with us because there's a lot of guys. And I hear somebody crack off a couple of rounds like they had shot something. So I pull the boat around and I'm looking, and I said, well, I'm not walking back this. So I pulled the P-Rog off the side and started push pulling back. And man, he come flying out of nowhere. I didn't know where he came from. Jumps in the P-Rog, starts pushing. Go, Joe, go, Joe. I'm like, what the hell? Just go, 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 go. So I'm pushing as hard as my little fat ass could push. Well, back that's kind of skinny, but I was pushing. We get to the boat, and I start up the boat, and you hear something just hit the water. And what is it? It's a big cat. This cat was going to eat his ass. I don't know what he ran up on, but this cat was going to eat his ass. I still don't know what kind of cat. It wasn't a panther. Well, I guess it could have been a panther because not all panthers are black.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I bet you the majority of them are black. But anyway, whatever it was, it kind of looked like a cross between it might have been a cougar or something like a cougar.
Puma,
whatever,
maybe.
Yeah, whatever it was, it came out of nowhere. And if I'd have been paying more attention, I would have just shot his ass. So the cat got lucky.
Yeah, the large cats we have in the Americas, we've got panther, we've got cougar, we've got mountain lion, and we've got puma. And puma and cougar are like similar to the mountain lion, and I think they're an offshoot of leopard species. And I think The panther is also. So they're a type of leopards, all the big cats we have. But the mountain lion is and the cougars are virtually, color wise and shape wise, virtually identical. Just the size difference. Mountain lions are a little bit bigger.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, cougars and mountain lions are a lot alike. Well, you used to be able to keep cougars as pets, and that all started over that stupid cougar commercial. Well, Ford used to make a cougar.
Yep.
Yeah, way back in the day.
Now we have cougars trolling around on the singles market.
Yes. Those are the cougars you really got to watch out for. Ooh,
yeah,
man.
they have really sharp claws.
You got to watch out for them. Sharp claws and whip, man. You just be careful. That's all I can tell y'all.
Yeah, be careful. They have sharp claws and they might carry a can of mace.
Oh, you mean what do you mean that was scary? Well, that was kind of scary back there, but I'll tell you what was scary. So I was getting into magic at the time, pretty heavy. This is a long time ago, man. It's before that we even had a moon on the planet. But I was getting into magic pretty heavy. And I had met some people at a cover. Well, this will take forever. I'm gonna try to make this quick. So my dad had died when I was really young. And I kind of had just lost my way. And I tried looking at religion, but religion just wasn't doing it for me. So I kind of got into the occult, into witchcraft. I mean, not into witchcraft, but into devil worship. And I tried it for about a year, and I was like, "This is worse than religion, man. This is just a fucked up religion, is what this is." So I said, "This isn't working for me." So I started getting into magic, and I had just met Linda, and Linda was practicing with Gavin and Yvonne. I believe they were out somewhere in one of them small states up north of Kentucky, somewhere. Not Kentucky, I mean Connecticut, or anyways, one of the really small ones up there.
Rhode Island.
Yeah. And I was kind of like, maybe it was Vermont, I think. But anyway, I said, I'm not really into wicked magic, white magic. And there's no such thing as color in magic. It's how you use it. It could be black or white. It doesn't matter. You're a witch. But it wasn't what I was personally looking for. I mean, I already knew a lot about wicked magic. It wasn't, it just wasn't what I was looking for. So I started reading about Aleister Crowley. And I had been invited to a couple of places in New Orleans, these Crowley meetings. And Crowley and him believed in sex magic, by the way, a lot of it. So, and that made it even more interesting to me. I mean, come on, I was fresh out of Navy. I was built like a rock. I said, wow, this is going to be fun. Long story short, though, I met Aleister Crowley's great-great-great-grandson. And he was an interesting person, and he showed me a lot of stuff. And his two, I don't know what you would call them. I don't want to call them proteges because they were masters in their own right, but they were female, and they were anyway. They
contemporaries. His contemporaries.
Yeah. That's probably a better way to say it. But anyway, they taught me a lot too. But so we're out in some club in New Orleans one night, just old raggedy ass club. It used to be a church, and then it was this home, and then it was a church again, and then now it's a nightclub or bar, I guess would be a better way of calling it. So we're all sitting there and drinking. And my boy walks over and he said, "Oh, I want to introduce you to somebody." And this young black guy comes up, nice, good looking guy, really nice guy. We're talking, and I look up at him and I said, "Man, you look really familiar for some reason." And he said, "You ever heard of Marie Laveau?" I said, "Yeah, I have." I said, "I've read quite a bit about her." I said, "Well, I'm her great-great-grandson." I'm like, "What?"
Oh. Hello. Ding, ding, ding.
Actually, no, I got that backwards. He's the great-great-great-grandson, and Crowley's was the great-great-grandson. Sorry. Anyway, I just want to get it straight. So he introduced me to him, and we hit it off really good. And between the three of us, we practiced some serious magic. And then one night he goes, "You want to know where my grandmother's buried? My great-grandmother's buried." I'm like, "Sure." And I said, "Is it graveyard number 1 and number 2? He said, she's not buried in the city at all. He said, "We told everybody." I said, "The family told everybody that. So that's where they go." So if you're in New Orleans and you're going to see Marie Laveau's grave in Cemetery 1 or Cemetery 2, there'll be a grave with her name on it. And there'll be lots of X's and marks on it, for other witches or other people coming by asking for whatever you may be. But there's also an identical one in Cemetery 2, which she can't be buried in 2 places. But regardless, she's not buried in either place. She's buried in private. They had a place out in the swamp
Cool.
And that's where she was buried. The bitch part is today it's not swamp anymore. It's suburb.
Oh.
So they built a house around the original house and the grounds. So they built it's a 8,000 square foot house, and her house and all the original stuff is inside of it. Very strange, isn't it? Very weird.
Yeah.
And also because of other people, and this is what I was originally showed first, there is a place still in the swamp where she used to do her magic. It's an old place way back there. And they say that's where she's buried. But he said, no, he said, look, see, it says it here. He said, but I'm going to show you why they did the house. He said, because this is where she goes. Because back in the day when she was alive, where her place was serious swamp. I mean, it was nasty, bad swamp where she was at. Nobody went back up in there. It was very dangerous. But eventually they landfilled it and turned it into suburbs. But the family went back there and took up the land around it ahead of time. They want to keep it sacred, I guess. They really believe in who she is. I wouldn't challenge her power if that's what you're asking now. Jay might. He's crazy.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what she really, the witch they say she was. She was a hairdresser who got the hobnob with all the rich people in New Orleans back in the day. Well, Larry, technically they considered her Creole. Well, Creoles were treated different than regular blacks were. Yes, they were. It was just one thing. It is. A Creole was black and French. Now Creole just means black and white, but back then it meant black and French. Yes, she was a Creole. From what I hear, she was quite pretty. The pictures I've seen of her, she's a very pretty woman. I don't know, but a lot of people, a lot more than I thought, went and seen her about getting magic spells and stuff. So in the family lore, they say on average, she was doing 10 or 20 a day, every day.
Wow.
And
That
they
must
were
have been draining.
$1 to $2 a spell. People, $1 back then is like $100 today. Probably more, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, 100 years after she was alive, you could still buy a po' boy in New Orleans for a nickel. So yeah, $1 was a lot of money back then.
Yeah, a carton of cigarettes probably cost you a nickel.
Yeah, they were showing a reenactment of it, and the guy had to pay $1 for something, some bet. He had to pay him $1, and there's a crowd standing around going, "Oh my God, I've never seen one of those before." It was too much. Oh man. Well, no, it's true back then, though. You mean Ranger Bob? Yeah, Ranger Bob. There he is. See him back there. He's watching y'all. That's 7 of 9's original skull. Yes. Before we gave her to Janeway. Oh, that's something else. I'm watching some weird show the other thing comes on about Janeway. Oh no, that's 7 of 9. Ooh, and they're talking about how she hated Captain Janeway and almost left deep space. Almost left Voyager. She said, what's her name? Kate McFadden was a bitch and a half. Because the storyline was revolving around 7 of 9 and not Captain Janeway. I was like, really? I didn't know that. They were showing 10 people, 10 famous Star Trek people who didn't want to be in Star Trek and didn't want to be in it anymore. One of them was Chakotay, man. Chakotay. Yeah. But they said Chakotay got like that because after like the second year, the Maquis arc ran out. So away they went. Oh, you like my demon? Mm-hmm. Say hello, Lola. This is Lola. Lola is Princess Fiona's personal slave. That's what she does. Look at her. She's not rotten beyond belief. She's just unbelievable. Oh, you like Daddy? Love me some more, please. No, you're right. The other one, I don't know where the other one's at. She must be hanging out somewhere else, but I'm surprised she's even let me. This is the jealous one. The bigger one's like, whatever. Who cares? If I'm petting the other one though, this one will come in and stick her head underneath my hand. She goes, I'm the baby. I'm the girl. I'm the sweetie pie. She's about 5 pounds. You guys get that cat. Where's that cat? Well, you see, the other one's in the other room. Hurry said, "Ski cat. Key cat. Where's the key cat? You gotta get that key cat. Yeah. You gotta get that key cat. Go get that key cat. No, you want to get the key cat? Your sister don't want to bark because she don't want to get down. She's like, always stay up. She's like, no, don't put me down, Daddy. Don't put me down. Go on, go do something with yourself. It's I know, Franco. Oh, come here. She's like, hey, come here. Oh, Lord damn, I got a horse here, man. Say hello. Tell everybody hello. Tell them hello.
Huh? Hello. No, too tired.
Yeah. Get him, girl. Get him. Oh, she's a no daddy. I want to love y'all. Anyway, getting back to real stuff instead of my demon dogs. What is all this snorting? Have you been snorting some cocaine or something? What's going on over here? She's rotten. Her problem is she wants to sleep on you when you're sleeping. Yes, she is a little plump little thing. She's I'm just a baby dog. I'm the moo moo girl. But she's Princess Fiona. That's why she rules. She said, I'm the boss. That's how it is. You don't like my big fat ass. I know. I know how it goes. Yes, ma'am. I got you. Who you want to get? Whiskey Margaret? Where's the kitty cat? Where's the kitty cat? Where's the kitty cat? You better get that kitty cat.
Where's the kitty? Meow.
Where's it? It's a no.
Meow.
See, when they're in my lap, no, they want to stay here. Get the kitty cat means we got to do something.
Meow.
Now, if I say it, they'll start barking at me. She's rotten, man. She's rotten. No, man, she takes them. Let me tell you what, the dog is this long, okay, and this wide, and she takes up my entire queen size bed. Don't even ask, man. I mean, both of them. Well, I used to have a California King when I had the two boys. Now Charlie's a little bit big. He was taller, and
You're kind of locking up there, little Joe.
Hello, the world has come for
There
you,
it is.
people.
You lagged out a little bit there.
But no, yeah, because I just watched the bandwidth is it says bandwidth is unstable. That's because
It's all them damn people. What is it for the coastal ride or whatever?
That's
Coastal car show
yeah,
you got going on.
fucking cruising the coast, and they're here until Sunday.
Cruising the coast. That's it.
Yeah, son of a bitches. Oh wait, they're here until next Sunday, right? Or is it this Sunday?
I don't know. It's your
Hopefully
town.
this is. I forgot, but hopefully this is the Sunday they leave.
Yeah, really.
I don't forgot which one it is now, but
We've had enough of their antics. Oh,
That's
by
right.
the way, we are
Boys and
coming up on
bastards.
break time.
Oh yeah, go ahead, pop something up. Let's see.
I got something here.
Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be morons.
Too late.
Course 2025. Okay, let's see. October 5th through October.
Love was only true in fairy tales.
Real quick. Sorry.
The ran like shit. It's that bad.
Tune in to UFO Undercover, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, with your
What the hell's
host,
a UFO?
Joe Montaldo, right here on the Paranormal Radio Network.
The Power Agency is built for those who move like predators, decide like weapons, and execute.
Hi, and welcome everyone to Ethereal Encounters Unveiled. Today we are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in beautiful New Orleans.
CEO person. Y'all know her? Is she actually on the network? Who is she? I'm just kidding. We know who she is. We know who she is. Welcome back, everyone, to the chat. See, I always want to say news on the flip side, but welcome back to the chat, everybody. Jay is off getting some face right now, so he'll be back in a little while.
Now I'm still here. I was just looking at some stuff.
Yeah, I heard you back there squishing and whooshing around and stuff. I was singing like, oh Jay, more baby. I was like, uh-oh. That's what happens. You shouldn't listen to things you shouldn't be listening to.
Someone's got to take care of
Oh,
Sean's
think about
twins
six
while he's
things,
busy
yeah. I could've
with the
told you.
aliens.
Yes. Wow. I heard wait, what's that reason? Oh no, you're talking about Sean? Oh no, he bought this thing. He took this drug to make his hair grow, but instead it made his whatchamacallit grow.
His other thing grow, yes.
Yeah, it's like 13 inches now and 3 inches around. I mean, that's like a log, man. Yeah.
It's like
I
a
see.
chimpanzee arm
He
holding
goes, you want me to send you some of that? I'm like, no, man, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you, babe. I'm good. Oh, I love Sean Death. He knows. He's a good friend and a good guy. No, y'all can still catch him on Tuesdays and Sundays. He's still around. Yeah, he's taking care of some business right now, and 4 shows is tough to do. Trust me, I do 5 a week, so it's not an easy thing. Plus, I usually do guest in.
Yeah, and I do 4 a week.
It's like Viagra on massive steroids, is what it is. Yeah, super Viagra, super duper Viagra. A good friend of mine's wife told me. She goes, I'm going to sue whoever fucking invented Viagra. I'm like, why? She said, I thought we were past this part of our relationship. I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, that is so wrong to say that stuff. Well, they've been married. They've been married longer than I had been. So. At the time, yes. I don't even want to know about eye drop Viagra. That just sounds like you're dropping some super drugs or something. They're like,
Yeah, ouch.
got it.
Well,
Wait, baby, I gotta put this in my eyes first. Yeah.
there's some company out there right now that's mixing Viagra and Cialis, and I forget which one. One of them allows you to last longer. One of them allows you to
Have a better
not necessarily
erection.
stay aroused longer, but the pill lasts longer, so you can have more arousals during it. And what they're doing is they're mixing the two into like a gel chew or a gummy chew, and I think they're mixing either CBD or hemp in with it too. So
yeah, I seen it on. There was a little green cube. I seen it the other day on
yeah,
TV.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to double up. Well, there's a newer drug that came out supposed to be even better than that. Look, guys and girls, yes, there's Viagra for women. Who said that? Yes, there is actually.
Yeah, there is actually Viagra for women.
Maybe
they say
when
what's
you-
good for the goose is always good for the gander.
Maybe if you got to use it, maybe it's time to quit. Well, there's only a few things that cause that for men, other than
Usually it's the prostate.
and
women don't have one, so
yeah, for men it can be a lot of things, mental issues. Generally, though, the worst thing for it is actually high blood pressure medicine, or even worse is cholesterol.
alcohol
medicine.
and high blood pressure medicine.
Cholesterol medicine will pretty much guarantee you'd have to have a drug to use it. And maybe if you got a really hot, and look, Viagra coffee. Oh no, we're gonna have to ban Mitch. I can see it coming. You probably make $1 million, Mitch. You should box it up and say, I got some Viagra coffee for you.
There you go. Oh, you would sell like hotcakes.
What do you mean number one cause? Well, okay. Probably 1/3 of erection problems is boredom. Half is probably due to whatever drugs you're taking. Well, that's why I never understood why guys wanted to do cocaine. Cocaine and speed, like Miley's real speed, is like it really, it's the only way I can say it. Yeah, you can do all the drugs you want after that. It doesn't matter. You can even it pretty much kills it. For women, it increases it like tenfold, but for guys, it just don't
Yes,
ask me.
his exact dramatic
Opposite.
effect.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's not one of those drugs you can share. Not if you want to have, coitus. There we go, coitus. That's a good word for it. I don't know who invented that fucking word, but hey, it works.
The
Let's have
Latins
some
did.
coitus, baby.
The Latins
Yes.
invented that word.
Yes, I need some coitus. I'd start laughing in the middle of saying that. I'd be like, I need some coitus. I can't even say it when I'm not being serious.
Almost sounds like something you'd ask for at the dinner table. Hey, can you please pass the coitus over here? I
Yes.
need to put some on my
Throw
sandwich.
the coitus up on the table there, baby. I mean, you hear it come back and say to you, well, no, the kids are here. I can't throw it up here right now. I'm like, wait, what? Whoa, we're talking about two different things here, I think. Bryony, we're talking about performance enhancers. There you go. That's a good way to say it. Yes, well, some people need them things. As long as your heart's in good shape, there's no it's not a bad thing. Well, because Viagra, just like Cialis, originally started out as a blood pressure medicine. Yes. So if you take Viagra, technically it increases your blood flow. That's why they always want you to see a doctor ahead of time. Because if your blood pressure's already, say, sitting around 140 over 88 or something, and you're taking Viagra, it's going to probably pump it up higher than that. And start putting you at risk of a stroke or a heart attack. Well, if you got to go, I mean, it's a pretty good way of going, but still.
Well, isn't that the way Johnny C. Holmes went? I mean, he went out dying as a leading porn star. Did he not?
I think he did, actually. I don't know, that's so long ago.
I think it was complications of herpes or hepatitis or something. But he also had AIDS too. So whatever.
Lanny, yeah, I did hear the president was in the hospital Friday. Everybody keeps saying it was for a regular checkup, but I thought he's already been in for his yearly checkup.
He went in for a semi-annual checkup, which he tried to play off as something he does usually.
Well, I mean, the man is 78.
Yeah. How many times did Joe Biden claim
Stone,
he was
how you
going to
been,
see his
baby?
doctor? I don't think very often, did he? He tried to hide the fact that he was declining in both health and mentality.
Well, I'm pretty sure they knew about his brain cancer long before we found out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They probably knew about it before he actually became president.
I bet you. You know what, Cal? I bet you Joe Biden used Viagra. Hey, Jill, are you listening? Because I know you like listening to our show. Did your old man use Viagra? Be honest about it. Oh, he used Cialis? But hey, that still works. Okay. So Joe Biden used Cialis. There you go.
The thing is that she's a doctor. She could probably prescribe it for him. He probably doesn't even know he's getting it. Here, take these, honey. What are these for? Your headache. Oh, thanks. Boom. Headache over. You know what I mean?
Oh, no. Jill said she just used a finger up the butt and that always got him going good.
Oh, the old prostate check.
Yeah, it's just, push on that prostate until it pops up.
But explain this to me, Joe. How can Jill be checking his prostate with both of her hands on his shoulders like that? It's very strange.
That's called strap on, my friend. That's what that's called. So you just never know what's coming on this damn show. You just never know where this place is going. It's well, he did have those looks on his face sometimes, like he had just got a good strap on. So
he did have some whacked out, confused looks on his face often.
Kim, I don't know if he really shit his pants there or not. I mean, it looks like he did. I'm not gonna lie. It really looked like he crapped his pants, but well, what hurt him wasn't so much the way he had his face and the way he reached around, like, oh shit, I just shit my pants. It was the two people standing next to him that moved over.
Yeah, after their noses like
God, you gotta be thinking you're just somebody important. You're standing to the most important man in the world. And you're going, does he smell like shit?
But to give it was this. They're like this.
My God,
and they're like,
oh, it's embarrassing.
And then they walked away. Yeah, they smelled him before they saw him.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Clearly.
people. That's just embarrassing. You mean what's her face? The one running ice? I wouldn't piss that bitch off. I'd like her to slap me around a little bit. I'd be like, "Oh, mama, it's I got a thing for a powerful woman." Oh yeah, I don't know what that's about. Yeah, I don't know. That's some kind of abuse me, baby, kind of thing. Just a thing. I used to drive Linda crazy with Martha Stewart when she was young. I say, "Oh yeah, Martha, baby, come spank me." It's because she was crazy when she was young. Actually, she kind of mellowed down, got cool when she got older, hanging out with Snoop, smoking some weed and shit. She chilled. 6 months in jail did her a world of good. Everybody said she was actually a lot nicer when she got out of jail. They said when she was in jail, she was before she went in jail, she was the C word. Let's leave it at that.
Yacht.
The C word, yes. The CO word. What, you want me to spell it? No, I'm not spelling it because you spell it. Might as well say it.
It's actually a 4-letter word. It stands for cannot understand normal thinking. Just take the first letter of each one.
Yeah, there you go. What are you talking about? Who? What do you mean? Who would I sleep with? Nobody. I don't know. You're a little strange here. Girl stinks, man. I don't know what you're talking about. You talking about? There's nobody famous I want to sleep with. I can tell you that. So you're wasting your time even asking me. It's I don't know. I never have. Even as a kid, I never found famous people to be attractive. Even if they were very pretty, gorgeous, or hot, whatever. They just never seemed. They just never seemed like. I don't know. It just wasn't a thing to me. Well, it's not that I didn't find people hot and stuff. I just didn't want to sleep with them.
Maybe not movie stars because they hadn't really hit the movies yet. But also the thing is, when we were kids, there was this thing called Charlie's Angels.
They were cool, but still, even them, I didn't. First off, I wasn't a big fan of Farrah Fawcett's. And Jacqueline.
No, but
Smith,
you
I
can't
think,
tell me you
right?
didn't enjoy that one little nice poster she made.
Oh, that was a cool poster.
Brights on and
And,
everything.
And Jackie made a pretty good poster. Kate was just too skinny for her own good.
Dragon, what's happening, man?
It's hey Z, what you up to? It's Kate was a little skanky skinny. And you know what? I actually like the new Angels better, mainly because they're funnier. It's yeah, we had
Cameron Diaz
Drew
was one of them.
Barrymore. Yeah,
Yeah,
Cameron
Drew
was
Barrymore.
one. Drew's such a fucking idiot. She's such an idiot. She's just an idiot. Who was the other one? And then I know we had Bruce Willis's ex-wife.
Hey,
play the
Amelia's
bad
here too.
girl.
Hey, Amelia.
Hey, where's Amelia? Oh, hey, cutie, what you up to?
Yeah, right there. Yeah, she
Ni-
came in the
nice
same
to
time
see
as
you out there,
Dragon did.
girl.
That's why we didn't catch her. She was over there. But
No,
we're
who
doing
was the
Mark Eddie's
other
in
one?
the building.
Yeah, but who we had?
Everybody's here.
So Bruce's ex-wife played the bad girl, and Drew and who you just said, who we missed? I can't think of whoever the other person.
Cameron
is.
Diaz was the one I said.
Yeah, you said Cameron Diaz, who's just a strange, crazy chick. Who are we missing? No, anyway, it's not important. Who's going to Mars? Yeah, I'm going with Elon. I was having lunch with Elon the other day. He said, Joe, you about ready? I said, I'm waiting on you, old man. I said, let me know.
Do you think Elon's even going to get there yet? There was a who was it? Oh, it was Arlen Andrews. Had a post, and he's like, "Do you think we're going to get to Mars? Do you think Musk is going to get to Mars, and how is he going to do it, and where?" And I said, "Well, by 2028, the first robot ships will be going to lay down the first buildings and infrastructure, and then by late 29, early 2030, the first humans will begin settling down there, and where they'll be settling down is going to be either just outside of Olympus Mons or in a cavern that the robots have discovered underneath Olympus Mons, and that's where the first settlement will be."
Yeah, it probably will be on Olympus Mons. They're going to try to put. They want to do an open air colony, but open air colonies are just too dangerous.
Someone on the thread also said, and I thought this was interesting, but I don't know if we could pull it off. Probably, Malus Valerineris, the big gouge in the front face of the planet, what is it, like 7, 8, 9 miles deep? The gouge is larger than the United States. He said, go down there and drill into the rock face at the bottom of that cavern and make underground caverns be protected from light and heat and radiation and all that kinds of stuff. Might not even need pressure suits down there that far.
No, I don't know, but it's dangerous because any big asteroid, I mean, any big meteors that hit is going to cave in on top of you. It's
yeah, I didn't like the idea either, but it was an interesting,
Well, I mean, but you can do the same thing with Olympus Mons because there's going to be a tube going down. God knows how deep. I mean, we don't know how deep that volcano goes down. They think it goes all the way to the core.
It is actually a volcano, I don't think. For one, and for two, even if it is.
Oh no, they know it's a volcano because some of its debris came to Earth.
Oh, okay.
And it erupted, and it's so close to the top of the planet that it just blew it out the atmosphere on several occasions. Actually, they've talked about that, but they actually think it goes to the core of the planet. That's why it no longer has a liquid core. They think it blew the core out. Something hit. You can see on the other side of the planet, there's a huge crater, big, massive, round crater. It looked like something
giant
big
eyeball.
Yeah, and it looked like something hit it and forced Olympus Mons upward. Like it pushed it across. People, you have to remember, Mars isn't as thick as Earth is, and its crust isn't either. So it just, that's what they think happened. They don't know, but they do believe for a volcano to be that tall, that it would have had to have a tube pretty deep, and it's pretty big around, so it'll protect you from radiation. And you probably don't need a pressure suit inside of there. As long as there's no openings going out, you probably don't need a pressure suit. And any outlet caves you found, you could seal those off pretty easy, except for the ones you're using. You could put doors on those.
And if we have perfected fusion reactors that are small and portable, you could easily bring power source down inside that would be protected from the elements. So yeah, it sounds like the better plan. It sounds like the plan.
Well, it doesn't. I mean, you can, and once you get in there well enough, you can seal up everything and pressurize it. fill it up with air and pressurize it. So, you've got a good start to a good colony. Now, eventually you're going to have to move out of them, but we know this because of those tubes that have been seen. We know that there's other places with caves. So, and we've seen other caves. So we know there's caves on Mars. It's just finding them. Well, Jackie, anything with water flow is going to have caves. And Mars looked like at one time it had a lot of water. They say at one time it had more water than we did. So that means it had a deeper ocean than ours because, there's less surface mass on Mars.
Well, they're saying the speculation is, at least in the Velikovsky hypothesis, is that he said he speculated on the order of the same amount of water table on Earth on Mars. So 7/10, so like 70% of the planet of Mars, which would have left Mars being a smaller planet, this would have left very, very little land exposed for anything. But anyway, that's what he was saying, is that there was that much water on it. So which kind of debunks his own theory, because he says that water was stripped off and dropped on Earth, which would mean Earth would have less than 7/10 because Earth is a much larger planet. Yet we also have a water table to Earth of 7:3, 7:3 water table to Earth ratio.
Yeah, it's well, people. There's far more water. There's far more water open on the Earth than there is land. And if all the ice caps melt, there'll be very little land.
Yes. If the ice caps melt, I think it would be 8/10. So, and then it would be, that leaves 20% left of the land. Of the 30% that's out now.
You'd have part of the West Coast left, part of the upper East Coast left, the heartland left. All the coastlines will be
all
gone.
The coast will be gone, actually.
It'll be going inland at least a couple of 100 miles. And so all that will be gone. And then you'll have marsh and stuff that's pushed in even further than that.
Places that were once not beachfront property will become beachfront property. Mm-hmm. And people who did not, or people who did enjoy once living on the coastland will now be much more fans of living in the mountains.
So in the dinosaur era, they estimated the amount of uncovered land on the planet was less than 16% because there was no ice at all on the planet. So that's a lot of land gone. This whole place is just disappearing. We'd have to figure out a way to super freeze up the Arctic and the Antarctic to make sure it froze back up. But you know how long it would take to accumulate miles and miles and miles thick of snow? That just doesn't happen overnight. So they would have it'd take a while.
But right now, if you watch that Dennis Quaid movie where New York is permafroze overnight.
Oh yeah, the ones with the big super things,
super vortexes. Yeah,
they all collide again.
If you believe that nonsense, then we could be like, today it's tropical, like upper state, finally gets to 110 degrees in the shade, and then the next night the super vortex flies over and the entire place freezes over, like hell has no wrath.
What do you mean? Yeah, there were. I think the glaciers ended right at the Gulf. Some of them actually protruded into the Gulf. Yeah, they're saying the first 200 miles of the coastal Gulf along the America was all land at one time.
They're also saying that the Bay of Baja, the Baja California Bay, that little strip of land that kind of blips off from Mexico, they say that was cut off from Mexico as the ice receded at the end of the Ice Age.
Yeah. So
whereas it used to be Mexico went all the way across, and now there's a split there.
Well, it's going to be like that on Mars. There's a lot of permafrost on Mars. You can't see it because it's covered in dust, but there's a lot of it.
Which
a lot
also
more water on Mars than we realized.
I would guarantee you in that permafrost, there are extremophiles living and breathing and breeding and striving, doing well without technology.
We know now for a fact, and NASA hates to admit it, but there's enough photos of the ice caps to show you. So the ice caps melt. Mars has seasons.
I've seen the pictures, yeah.
Yeah, so you've seen the ice cap melt. When it first melts, you see just big open land. Then all of a sudden, after a couple of weeks, it all has this grayish, blackish color for just miles and miles and miles. It's some kind of mold or fungus or something. It may be a nematode or something. There may be a whole bunch of them living there. Whatever it is, it's alive. because as soon as it starts to snow again, it all disappears. So it's not. I'm not talking about by snow coverage. It just disappears. I guess because the cold kills it, or it leaves, whatever.
Or
But it goes
hibernates
away.
like a
Or
plant, like
hibernates.
chlorophyll.
Whatever it is, it disappears, and then it's when the ice melts, it comes back. Yeah, it's something alive. NASA's admitted now that they're going to find something alive on Mars. It's not the only planet they're going to find alive in our solar system. They're going to find other things in our solar system that have life on it.
I wouldn't
than
be surprised.
here.
Would not be
Well,
surprised.
this is the easiest way to figure this out. Oh, it's Glenda. Hey, Glenda. This is the easiest way to find this out, though, Mark. So on Earth, there are billions of species on this planet. On this one planet, there's just because there was a place for it to take hold, it did. So the current theories is if you have heat, water, and atmosphere, you're going to have life no matter what. They think now on Titan, which Titan is just a bubbling mass of shit. They think they're going to find life there because of the atmosphere. They're pretty sure even on Venus, they're going to find some type of life, whether it's in the, what do you mean, 900 degrees? That's not shit. They got black smokers with stuff living all over that are hotter than that.
Well, so the thing about Venus, though, is that most scientists, even the hack scientists, all agree that the amount of greenhouse gases that currently make up the atmosphere of Venus can only be made by biological processes, not mechanical or technological processes. So whatever it is, plant life, mold, mildew, farting one-celled gas animals, who knows what the fuck it is. Something down there is producing these gases and overloading the atmosphere with these carbon dioxide filled, greenhouse type gas.
Yeah, Mark, I know what you're talking about. So about 30 years ago, they had sent, maybe been less than that, but they sent a probe to Venus. They were doing the upper atmosphere, and they realized they thought they had made a mistake because it sent back identical to Earth's upper atmosphere. They were like, well, that can't be right. We made a boo-boo. It was right. So then they got to thinking, because it's pretty sure there's microbes and stuff that live in our upper atmosphere. Now we know it because we found them on the shuttle. I mean, not the shuttle, the space
ISS.
station. So we know that things can leave the planet itself. So it's just what's that, Chris? No, it's just the way it works out. I mean, life just has a way of taking hold. And I think, and I've said this many times, I don't think life is the exception. I think it's the norm. And I think we're going to find other life on other planets that isn't based like we are on carbon. Well, we always talk about silicone life, but there's other ways there can be life too.
For example, the Vulcans in Star Trek were based on copper. We're based on iron. Their blood is green. Our blood is red.
And then what animal are you going to come from? Like maybe you're a dolphin. Maybe your species came from a dolphin. Maybe it came from a monkey. Maybe it came from a rat. Who knows? But everything in the universe has a chance to become sentient. It's just the conditions.
You might be a cat.
They say we were monkeys. Well, Jay was a monkey. I wasn't a monkey, but Jay was a monkey. He even looks like one a little bit. So, what do you mean? So, Marsha,
you put me in a monkey suit, I can dance around like a real ass gorilla.
If you're RH positive, you're a monkey. If you're RH negative, you're not.
If your species begins with H and ends with Uman, you're a monkey. You are part of the great ape family. There's no getting around it.
There is if you're RH negative.
I guess that's true.
So, okay, Jackie. RH negative does not share any of its genes with the rhesus monkey. That's where, that's where the RH, the digit RH comes from. Rhesus monkey, that's what it means. So RH positive share, it's not a lot, 2%, 6% of their DNA with the rhesus monkey, but RH negative doesn't share any of their DNA with the rhesus monkey.
Yeah, but did you? I don't remember if you said a date, but you've talked about this a lot. Are we able to track when? I mean, is there like a distinct line? Like, there's no RH negative, no rhesus, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's RH negative.
20 to 40,000 years ago is what science says. Out of the blue and for no reason.
20 to 40,000 years ago.
Yeah,
What was
not
happening
even
20
then.
to 40,000 years ago on the planet?
I know, but that's the ice age, right? Smack in the middle of it, right?
Has to be. And we're
I
also
ain't got
talking.
hearing-
We're also
Go ahead.
talking at a time, though, Joe, when science says that humans either did
Human.
not exist, or if they did, they were hunter gatherers, not set. They didn't have any settled, making their own homes and kind of thing. They didn't make their own settlements. They were nomadic hunter gatherer types.
Well, that's pretty
And
much
it's
true.
looking, it's
They were
looking more and more like there was an advanced, way more advanced society than even Egypt and Rome during the Ice Age, and
So-
perhaps before the Ice Age.
So let's see. Last ice age, officially known as the last glacial
Yes,
period,
humans.
lasted about 115,000 to 11,700 years ago. So
Oh.
115,000 years ago is when it started, and it ended 11,700 years ago. Man, that's a closest
And-
estimate I've.
Look up the gap between them, Joe. You'll be surprised.
What's what it says? It's roughly 100,000 is what it is.
No,
It's,
the gap between Ice Age and non-Ice Age. It's less than 100,000. It's like 11,000 years.
It's
Hey,
let's
Google,
see.
what's the average gap between Ice Ages?
Let's see. It's showing it on this map
On the
right here.
website lifescience.com, they say, this is how the 100,000 year cycle works. Ice sheets grow for about 90,000 years and then take about 10,000 years to collapse during warmer periods. Then, the process repeats itself. Given that the last ice age ended about 11,700 years ago, isn't it time for Earth to get icy again?
Yes, it is.
The span between Ice Ages is about 11 to 12,000 years, and
But
the last
that's
Ice
kinda-
Age ended about 11,000 to 12,500 years ago.
But
So,
that's not
yeah,
that's
we're
not
predicting.
exactly an accurate way of saying it. So yes, remember in the 70s they said the ice age was coming back. They
Yeah.
said, and people, in case y'all didn't know that, there's always a warming trend before an ice age. That's what helps to trigger the ice age. So this one's a little past due at this moment, but it doesn't.
Yeah,
just
it's like
happen.
calm before the storm,
But-
light
but it
before the
doesn't-
dark,
so-
dark before the
so-
light. Everything has.
So
some
just like they
features.
said, at 90,000 years, it stops, and then we have 10,000 years of warming. So now we should be cooling.
Actually,
and
it would be
and-
20. It would be 22 to 30,000 years of warming. It'd be when the ice age slows down. You have 10,000 years where the ice, which takes the ice to melt and recede, and then you have another 11 to 12,000 years of most of the planet not being ice covered before it all starts again. So,
Yeah, so-
it sounds like a really vicious cycle.
Yeah, well, it is. It's probably has something to do with our orbits and all of it. So you may get 30,000 year break in between, but even when you get that, it's actually longer than that, because when the ice age restarts, it doesn't just become icy. It takes a few thousand years, probably 10 or 20,000 years for it to get really cold again outside. And then you can start your 90,000 year period. So it's probably more like 50,000 year break with 90,000 years go, and then another break of 50,000 years.
Well,
in between.
you understand what that means for
We'll just
international
go
lines, right?
100. So we'll just say 100, 100,000, 50, 100,000, 50, 100,000, 50. That's just crazy is what that is.
You know what that means for
It's-
international lines, though, right?
Hmm.
Oh, Canada will be obliterated by the ice age. Where are the Canadians going to go?
They're gonna just live on top of the ice sheets.
I guess they'll have
Can
to.
you listen? So this is Canada in 2100. They build their city in Toronto on top of the ice sheet because you have to. And by 2200, now the city is down in Louisiana because that's where the ice sheet has gone. Because when we talk about that sunken city off the coast of Cuba, it's in 800 feet of water. I think it's 800 or 900
Something like
feet
that,
of
yeah.
water. And at one time it was up in the air. So the question is, what happened? Did the land rise or the ground sink, or was this thing actually built on ice and slowly just sink to the bottom? Because if
Or
it was
it
an
was
ice
just-
sheet, it wouldn't have just broke. It would have just slowly started to push it down because of the weight. Eventually, it would have just settled on the bottom. Everything looks really intact. I mean, you
Or
don't
the
even
work
see
could
shit
have been
laying
built
over
there
the
during the
side.
time when the water had receded enough, and that was exposed land.
It could have been exposed land. But that is where the ice age was at that time. So
Well, we know
when they
for a
talking
fact
about,
that two cities off of India they're written about in historical texts. They're legitimate things. These three around Cuba, we don't have any idea who they are.
yeah, and and they think they date around 15,000 years ago, so that's still in the ice age. So that would have still been ice, or real close to there. They'd have probably still been ice right there, or they'd have been, because the water was so low, they'd have been, I forgot what they call it, but the Florida sheet, where there's a sheet of land from Louisiana to Florida projecting out 200 miles into
Isthmus. It would be an isthmus.
Yeah, so it's just hard to say because none of us were there, and no one knows how most of these cities got to the bottom of the ocean. The ones in India we understand. It was probably a tsunami that originally buried them, just like it was a tsunami that uncovered them. So that one's a little bit easier. The one in Japan, because it's so earthquake prone, that would be another one. Now, something I didn't realize I was talking to the other day, and the reason why this city may be like this undamaged is, other than the wood parts being gone, is the Japanese, I can't remember his name now. He was talking about it's cut from one block of stone. It's all one block. It was like a little mini mountain they just carved out. He said it's what it looks like is somebody came in and carved this whole area out, and then came in and set wooden poles and wooden things and built, like structures with roofs and stuff on top of them. Because just recently they were down there diving and found thatching that you would see from an old Japanese roof, from back around 4,000 years ago or 5,000 years ago. So now that doesn't mean it wasn't from a much earlier period, because I have no idea when the Asians got to Japan. 10,000, 100,000. I have no idea. They got lost in a boat in a storm and got over there.
Homon or Jomon people begin in the Japanese and Korean areas of Asia around 12,500 BCE. That culture stays until about 1,400 CE. Some, 14,000, 15,000 year old civilization, one of which whose artwork and they were called the Jomon for a rope pattern that they infused onto their clay pots, which then eventually became lead, what they call ding in China. They're three-legged crockeries or pots you would cook in. It's a witch's pot, basically. But anyway, their rope design went from all the way from Japan across the Western Americas, Northern and South America, across the Polynesian Islands, and then swept west across the American continent into Europe, and then as far as at least Greece. And if you ever go to any Italian restaurant, they give those. Back in the day, they had this paper placemats that would be in front of you, and there was a rope pattern that went around the border of that placemat that formed an L all the way around. That pattern originated in Japan in around 11,000, 10,000 BCE. You're muted, bud.
Oh, okay. I thought I was looking up here for the mute. All this pushes back long before we were supposed to be civilized. All of it. Home Alone. That's scary. That's scary. Aliens will be coming for sure. We should send somebody to visit, like, hello, I am the extraterrestrial. But anyway, it does push all of this well back. I mean, once you get into the Ice Age, this is beyond modern civilization. Modern civilization starts 6,000 years ago with the Sumerians, or the Egyptians, or the Mesopotamians. Whatever your argument wants to be, that's when they say it started. Before that, we were nomadic, tribal people living all around the planet. But obviously, that wasn't true.
Listen to this. The Hare has this argument about another historical site in Turkey called Derinkuyu. Derinkuyu is I think it's 20 levels. It doesn't go 20 levels below Earth, but it's a weird thing to describe. But it's a cavern that they carved out, and I think 1,000 feet deep, 100 feet deep. I'm not sure of the actual dimensions of it, but it's multiple layered and can hold and sustain and keep alive around 20 to 30,000 people, they estimate. And they think that people lived in there for thousands of years during an ice age. But during the hair, their speculations are that it was to hide from unidentified flying objects and or aliens.
Maybe so.
Oh.
Even though the aliens would have known they were there.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm pretty sure that they're investigating like, oh, look at that. There's like 20,000
Amelia,
people under that rock. All right, pick them up. You know,
the Canadians are giving thanks for Carney. That's all they're doing. That's
Yeah.
their Thanksgiving this year. We love.
I think,
Carney.
but I think a better explanation for those caves, and there's more than one type of cave like Darren Kuyi around the planet that literally seems to have housed thousands of people for thousands of years. One of the best arguments for those is that it was to keep warm and alive from the ice that's covering the land. You'd have to stock it well in advance and put, wood in there. And
see, I always wondered about that because I've heard stories like that before, but then there wasn't. So they had found this one cave. It was a big, huge ass cave, and there was no doubt people were living in there, but they had only found enough discarded wood and burnt wood and feces to suggest there was only maybe 100 people living in there. But they had been told there was maybe 100,000 living in there. And that seems to be the main thing when they find these sites, when they start digging around, they don't find enough stuff to warrant how many people they thought were there at first. Because if you've got
Darren
20,000
seems to exhibit the possibility of interior plumbing, which they suspect may be one of the reasons why they don't find evidence of a lot of waste material, human waste material, but they do think that around 20,000 people lived there, and they don't say for sure how long, but thousands of years is the guesstimate. And if there was a way for them to have diverted a natural river or creek bed, or even just divert some water off of a river nearby to go through the cave as a way of interior plumbing, first of all, that's a grand, genius idea. You might be able to grow food inside there, even with artificial light, like torches and such like. But we don't know. I mean, the fact is that this is what the evidence is showing. There has to be explanations for why.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying. They go in and they look for a lot of things. So they look for feces, they look for burnt wood and stuff like that. They also look for scorching on the walls and ceilings. There's not a lot of scorching. There's not a lot of people. Because as far as we know, for the last 100,000 years until 200 years ago, not even that, 100 years ago, there was no electricity to run lights, even though we think the Egyptians may have had it, but nobody else seemed to have had it. So it's hard to say what was what.
You don't know that now.
Well, we know the rest of the world didn't have it because nobody talks about it or writes about it. Something like that would have been written about because that would have been considered magic back in the day. So and I hate to say that because the way how disjointed this planet is, it doesn't mean there wasn't somebody here that was way more advanced than somebody over here. These people might have still been living like, tribes, but this people over here might have been living like the Atlanteans. We live like that today, people. We here in America live better than most everybody on the planet. And let's not even talk about the people who still live in tribes in South America and Africa, the same way they were living 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years ago. I mean, you can look on this own planet to find out what I'm talking about is true. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be true for everywhere else we go. Earth is, one of the things I think the reason why aliens like Earth is because we're so diversified, not just in population human wise, but in animals. I mean, there is so much shit on this planet. It's ridiculous. It's like everything you could think of somebody put here.
Well, also think about this. There's also so many things that aren't here that used to be here. We represent, and by we, I mean the royal we. I mean all of us humans and kitty cats and the doggies and the duckies and the bunnies and everything, insects, everything nasty and creepy crawly and things you hate and poisonous and dangerous. All of the creatures that are alive today represent 1%. Actually, I think it's a little less than 1%. I think it's like 0.9999 to the infinity % of the species that survived the explosion that killed the dinosaurs. Think about that.
That's what I got to say.
Dinosaurs
aren't real, man.
If we were living, coexisting with dinosaurs, we would be even more unique.
There ain't no damn dinosaurs in the firmament, man. Get off that shit.
I'm just saying, we're not that far removed from the dinosaur age.
Oh, I remember. I actually had a preacher tell me that one time. He said, "There's no dinosaurs in the firmament. That's just some old wax." I said, "So them bones are fake, is what you're telling me? That they're finding all over the planet?" I'm thinking. I said, "Maybe y'all got God
A huge hoax, yeah.
because God never said that was 6,000 years ago. Some man said that. That's
Some
somebody.
Jewish man said that.
Well, I don't even think it was a Jewish man. I think it was somebody else, but from another religion.
Well, it's mostly Jews who think that.
Well, because no, the Sumerians weren't Jews or Catholics or Christians. They were something else, and they're the
You don't
ones that
know.
say. But that's
You
the
don't
ones
know
who
that.
say. That's the ones who say when civilization started, all the Christians and Jews are doing is following what somebody else said. Same thing with the Ark. The Ark was long before Moses. That's what pisses me off. Oh, Noah in the Ark. Well, go check that story out. You'll find that story well before Noah did.
There are 3 stories in the Sumerian tablets that come way before Moses.
Shit.
Way.
And well, a lot of what you find in the Christian Bible is stories that were found before Christ or even the Old Testament were written. So you got to stop and wonder, like, okay, well, not everything is true, and some are just stories, and some are other things. Well, if you believe the Old Testament, people lived to be 900 and 1,000 years old. And today, people live to be 85 years old. That's a big difference in how we live.
Well, the Bible says that the age for our species is 120, and most people don't even get that far.
Maybe when God did Babel, he fucked us all and said, y'all can't live long anymore. So to be honest with you people, most science seem to think within the next 50 years, we'll be able to live between 120 and 150 years. If you move to Mars, say in your late 50s, you'll probably be able to live to about 140, 150 years old. It's and we'll see more and more drugs coming along. And there's other things. So a lot of what happens to humans on Earth is because of gravity. So once you can be able to go back and forth to Mars quickly, like in a couple of days, which is going to be coming in the near future, then you can take some of the damage of your gravity off your body. You go spend 3 months on Mars and then come home and relieves all that pressure. And every time you do that, it's going to add life to how long you're going to live.
What about the Johnson & Johnson? Don't they have like a dual pill that you take that one turns on your telomeres, the second one takes like 30 years off your internal organs?
So you take the first pill first, and they say over a span of they can do it quicker, but they prefer to do it over like 5 or 8 years. It can de-age you 20 to 30 years. Once that's finished, they give you another pill that stops your telomeres from aging anymore. They don't get short anymore. They just stop. Where they're at is where they're at. That's why they de-age you first before they give it to you. Because if they give it to you right now, whatever age you are, it's pretty much the way you're going to look for the rest of your life.
Yeah, so they give you time to grow some of the telomeres back. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, when they reverse it, the telomeres come back. So, and that's where they stop it, whatever. So, they can give you whatever much. I think the maximum they said they can do is 30 years. And they can do it really fast, but the pain, they say, is intense and can kill you. But they say they like to take it over. They give you the first set of stuff. And then over 2 or 3 years, you de-age about 10 years. Actually, over about 2 years. And it's the same thing for all the rest. And that way, there's pain involved, but they can control the pain through opioids and stuff.
Yeah, narcotics.
And then after that, after you hit the age you want to be, they give you the other one, and that's it. And from what they said, they don't have to give you another one after that, but they don't know for sure because they don't know how long the dose is going to last. But
each person's going to react differently. Someone's going to react quicker or less quick than the person before them.
But according to J&J, that technology's been around for about 20 years now, and the people that's been used on don't age anymore.
Why aren't they giving it up to anyone else?
I don't think they can.
Why not?
Because I don't think they can.
What,
get
is it alien technology?
I don't know what it is, but I don't think they're going to give them FDA approval on. I think mainly because there's 8 billion of us living on the planet. Let's say that drug gets given out. Okay. That means all of us are going to live another few thousand years, a few hundred years. And if you're still having children, the population of this planet is going to bloom. It'll be 20 billion in no time at all.
Yeah. So people can still be shot, thrown off a cliff, dying in an explosion.
No execution.
Church roof can collapse in on them, and act.
Shame on you, Jay. Shame on you. Jay's gonna execute you bitches because y'all got it. You're immortal now. You got to watch it, man. But they also talked about this drug. Did other things like the amount of oxygen you need to consume is cut by half. Your body burns fuel differently. It almost sounds like it partially
STP
upgrades you.
treatment for your fuel tank.
Yeah, it's an upgrade of some kind. And then there you go. And then you can live for quite some time. I don't know if it's permanent, John, but they say it's so far it's, whatever it is, 20 years, but 20 years so for me I would be 30. Yeah, Jay would be like 25 or something.
I can deal with that.
See, I don't want to go any younger than 30, so 35 may be better. I could probably even deal with 40.
25, I was nice and slim, had washboards, I was in excellent shape, I was a good swimmer.
Yeah, but your brain don't work the same at 25. Anytime you're going backwards, your hormones go backwards. You got to remember that. That's why I was thinking about 35 or 40. Because you don't want to be all this knowledge in your head and having to be dealing with 20-year-old hormones. Get your ass in all kind of trouble. Well, yeah. I mean, anybody. I'm not talking about just Jay. It's just, No, probably for me, I was thinking 35, 40 would be a good age. I was very attractive, good shape, way more knowledge in my head than I did before. And now, whoever posted that to my page, I don't know if you lose knowledge as it goes backwards. I don't think you do, but
yeah, I wouldn't think you would lose any knowledge.
It doesn't sound like you.
It doesn't time travel you to a point where you didn't learn the knowledge. It just regresses your cells. That's all.
Well, they're saying by replacing those telomeres, it replaces that knowledge. Maybe so. I don't know. We're gonna find out. It doesn't seem like it does, but we
telomeres aren't part of memory, though, are they, Joe? I don't think they are.
Not as far as I know, they're not. No. But we don't know what in the body is interconnected. 40 would be good. I mean, I'd be real happy. I was in good shape. I could still do we're going to get into that, but that's for another show. That's for the after hours show. It comes on at 2 a.m. You have to show an ID to get into that show, by the way. What do you mean, Kim? No, really. You want to come into that show, you got to show an ID to be in there. Yeah. I like Jay's up there flashing.
He's getting ready to come on.
What do you mean? Why do you have to show an ID? Because nobody has clothes on. That's why.
I'm munching on a Reese's Crispy Crunchy bar too, and it's really chocolatey. So I'm keeping my camera off so I don't like drool chocolate all over the camera.
Big doofus. Yes, well, it's a be bad show. Anyway, we got to get out of here. Sean Hazlitt is coming on in about 2 or 3. Well, he'll be on in 10 minutes for sure, but
yeah,
he's got to do all his intro stuff and all that good stuff. I'm going to eat because I haven't eaten anything yet today. Well, I was going to eat. I didn't get up till 12:40. I got out of bed and I'm fucking around doing something, and I'm thinking to myself, I got to do something. I knew I had a show, but I forgot that the show Arthur's Quill's been moved back now, so it comes on at 3. But I was thinking I had till 4. Then like at 1 o'clock, I realized, oh shit, I got to be on the air at 3. I had to feed my dogs, take a shower, take them outside, had a couple of errands to do. Next thing I knew, then I had to set up the show. Next thing I knew, it's time to get on the damn show. Yeah, we had a lot of fun tonight, and well, we're gonna be picking through January. Yep. We'll be picking a little bit more insane topics each week. And then we'll kind of take a holiday trend. Well, we'll be into holiday stuff, but not your typical holiday stuff. What do you mean, Grimpus? We talk about Grimpus every year, but one of the best shows you can hear is Michelle DeRoche and I did a show on Grimpus on the Gray Zone, which is great. But I know Amelia and Michelle have talked about it as well. I know other hosts on the network has talked about it. Yeah, that's his brother. Yeah, Grimpus is Saint Nick's brother. His evil twin brother, who's not quite as evil as everybody makes him out to be. But yeah, check it out. It's a lot of fun. Well, I'm sure we'll be talking about it sometime along the way. Wait, what? No. You can't pick and choose that kind of stuff. But anyway, You know, we got some perverts listening to this network. Yeah, sometimes. That was just stupid. But anyway, we got to get out of here. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to United Public Radio on the chat. Jay and I will see you in a couple of days. I'm off. I'm gonna be on a little break. I'm never off because I got some computer stuff I got to do. But other
Are
than
we
that,
having a guest on
yeah.
Wednesday, or are we just we winging it again?
I don't remember. I gotta look. Got like 5 of them coming, but I don't remember where they were at.
Yeah, I can't remember the
Yeah,
dates.
you know
now.
what? Where is that book at? I need to find that book. And there's a couple people I got to contact because I promised I might write it back, and I haven't. So
Here's what you do, Joe. Take a book about the same size. Go like that, and that's probably where you'll find it.
well, it's a numbers book, and I keep other stuff in it, but it should be around
Oh.
here somewhere. It's weird that it's not sitting next to the desk.
Is it- No, that's your lightsaber sword. Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought I saw it wedged in between the Earth book and something else, but that's your sword.
Yeah, that's the sword. That's the guy. I was distracting the poor guy in Austin's quill with it. He said, "Man, every time you light it up, I got to look at it." I'm like, really? I said, "Yeah." He said, "That's a cool lightsaber."
Good thing you didn't have me guest hosting. I have the purple one over here.
I said, I tell you what, during the holidays, I said, we give them away. We give about 30 of them away every year. I said, 10 of them don't have any sounds. It's just the light. And the other 20 all have the full effects. And I said, we even give away a couple of Kylo Rens, which I believe this year are going to be $1,100 or $1,200. Well, last year, a year before last, we gave a couple away. This lady won 2 of them. And she went and bought 8 of them. Yeah, at $1,000 a piece. But she saved some money because the guy who I actually met at FanX 4 or 5 years ago actually is from the UK. Yeah, so he could sell them to her for a better price because he didn't have to pay royalties on Star Wars. So that's not got a Star Wars hilt, but most of them, you can get any Star Wars hilt that they have, any color, any hilt they have in the Star Wars Empire he carries. But when you start naming characters, the price goes up because he has to pay Star Wars for using them. Yeah, so Kylo Ren's is $1,100. I think he said 4 of that goes to Star Wars or 5 that goes to Star Wars, plus whatever it costs to make the thing.
Wow, all that goes to Disney now. Jesus.
Yeah, fucking Disney. Disney, you can suck my left. You know what? Ladies, close your ears. Disney, you can suck my nuts. I swear. Oh, never mind. Oh, no, she's gone. I scared myself for a minute. Lord. I was thinking that woman still ran Disney. I don't want her. He's sucking on my dogs. God, that woman's just nasty. But again, we got to get out of here. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in to United Public Radio in the chat. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. Any moans, groans, bitches, or complaints, please write to Amelia Pisano. I'm
She's the
sorry,
boss
right to
of the
Michelle
station.
DeRoche. Yes, right to Michelle DeRoche. She's the big kahuna. And y'all should write her like love notes and stuff. Oh, we love you, Michelle. We love you, Michelle.
Especially
No.
saying good things about how I keep Joe interested and on topic, and keep him going off tangent and all that kind of stuff too. So
Yes,
we like
yes.
to hear that.
Tell her, yes. But Stone, Sherry, Zay, everybody else, I want to tell y'all thanks for tuning into the show tonight. Everybody
thanks,
listening to us
guys.
on Roku and everywhere else that y'all listen to us on. I appreciate y'all listening and hanging out with us again. And again, I want to tell you everybody one more time, good night, and thank you for listening to United Public Radio, UFO Undercover Paranormal. Oh, wait, wrong show. UFO Paranormal Radio Network and the chat. Good night, everybody.
Cool.